This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, coral-auctions.co.uk and reefdork.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. What's up, YouTube? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prestige Reef Dork Show. Today, what are we talking about? Oh, yes. Today we're going to be talking about. So I'm getting a new tank to replace the Cade, and I'm trying to work out what I should do with it. I've had at one point I've been convinced that I'm going to go just focus on some really cool fish, and then I sway back to like, well, it would be cool to have certain corals, and so I'm going to talk about. It's not going to be fish only, definitely not going to be fish only, but we'll talk about, we'll just talk about that tank basically and what I'm going to do with it. So there we go.
Am I on the opposite side to usual? Because it feels weird for me. I think I am. Yes.
No?
There you go. Back to normal.
So this
someone just said in the comments you're on the wrong side.
Yeah. This also is not the live stream that I started as. I started when I first uploaded this, it was something like the fish we regret. Top 5 fish we regret. And the plan was that you and me were going to do the fish that we regret buying the most. Yeah. And I've changed my mind on that. So I'll come back onto that later. But
did you change your mind because you hadn't done your homework, or did you change your mind because...
No, because I got a comment on one of my videos, not a live stream, main video the other day. The series I'm doing at the moment is the definitive best fish, corals, SPS, cleanup crew, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's based on our live stream. So you and me choose a fish or a coral, we put it to the vote, and then the public decide, and then that coral is for a fact the best gunny, soft coral, whatever. And that series hasn't done very well, to be honest. I think it's because I've just made it 1,000 times already. I like making those videos, which is why I keep doing them. But I got a comment saying something like, I noticed you've been doing videos like this a lot lately. How about doing something different or something like that for the live stream?
Burn.
No, he was really polite. He wasn't trying to like have a pop. But I was like, actually, you know what? You're right. I've done a lot of these, and if people are bored, what I took from that is he was like politely saying, "This is a bit boring. Can you try something different?" So that's for me. I'm going to try something different.
It's interesting because it's a hobby that you can learn like something new even 19 years later. You constantly will be learning like new things, but it's not that easy to show people new things all the time. In my opinion, you might disagree, but
no, it's not.
You can't disagree that strongly if you're making the same videos.
No, exactly. And the other thing with the hobby is that things come along that change from time to time, and we'll learn something new about something that we didn't know before, or there'll be a piece of equipment that alkalinity testers came in and give you more data on your alkalinity, that sort of stuff. But actually the fundamentals of the hobby don't change. they are what they've been for 20 years. People have been keeping the most difficult corals in this hobby the same way for 20 years. So you don't need to. It's not a hobby where you need to. But like if this was a car channel, we'd be talking about the latest Ford whatever every week. But the hobby doesn't really change. So you can't be talking about every week something new. And hey, do you know what? Nitrates at 7 now suddenly has been revealed to give you the best colors or whatever.
Yeah.
So but anyway, that person did say he put in a request as well. The second part of his comment was to request a live stream, and it was based on, I mentioned this yesterday, he wanted the live stream on how fast corals grow. So how quickly does one torch head become 2, one mushroom become 2, whatever. And you had the same reaction as I did. That's like how long is a piece of string? It's a really difficult question to answer. But I think we could give a rough idea. But
you could probably give it a go. With things like, so obviously Monteporal grows faster than torches, for example. But some people can't keep torches alive at all. So if you think about it, the torches in that tank grow significantly slower than someone else's tank.
Exactly.
So it is hard to give an exact, but a rough ballpark probably is something feasible. But it would take some some proper homework to do.
You'd have to really think about it, and also it's also much better if you can show examples, because if you're just saying words, that's not as useful as being able to see two pictures taken 6 months apart or
Yeah.
whatever. And I've got loads of those. I'd have to dig them out. But also, the one thing the reason that I used to wonder about that was when I was first in the hobby, my first tank. Like you'd get a tank, you put corals in, and a month later, nothing's changed, and you're like, "Is that normal? Am I doing something wrong? What's going on?" And the reality is actually, it probably has grown since you haven't noticed. You only notice when you take photos and look back at them. But also, there will be times when nothing happens for a month, especially if if your first coral and it's all bedding in and just trying to survive.
We have entirely different mentalities, because I have never ever thought that. I've never thought, oh, I wish this was growing faster,
Oh, I
or
see.
or things aren't growing enough, like, or they look the
You do
same.
at
I
the
just go,
start,
is it alive? Is it dead?
even at the
Those are my
start of the
only
hobby.
thoughts. Yeah, at the start, yeah.
Okay.
I like my only fear was killing stuff. I didn't care
Yeah.
how slowly or quickly it grew. I was
Yeah.
never in a rush. I literally bought this would blow your mind, Alex, because like you are so different in this regard. I would buy one fish or one coral each month, and that was it. Which means the tank had a total of 12 fish over the course of an entire year.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, but that came down to not being able to afford it.
Yeah.
So
So I was similar at first. So I wouldn't spend a load of money. Like if I saw a coral that was 30 quid, I'd be
yeah, oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh God, do I want to spend that?" Whereas now it's just like I'd rather buy corals than pay my mortgage. So.
Well, back then, if a coral was 30 quid, that was expensive. If a coral's 30 quid now, that's the normal price for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
But
it's hard to
I'm a
find
lot
corals
more.
less than that.
You're a lot more patient than I am. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's probably true, I'd say.
But before we get into the meat of the live stream, so it's been 2 weeks. So I was in Copenhagen last weekend. Wicked city, by the way. I would highly recommend it. Even in this November when it's cold, really cool place. Very
Yeah.
expensive though. Bloody hell.
Interesting artwork as well.
Yeah,
Alex
that's funny.
Alex
Go
kept
on.
sending me pictures of the curtains in his hotel rooms, which had basically worse pictures, more graphic pictures than these.
Oh, way more
And I was
graphic.
like, "Where are you staying?"
Then I sent you the one in the changing room, and that was
Oh yeah,
graphic AF. It was like, and
that
this was
was
just
really
like in a
graphic.
clothes shop, like a department store clothes
Yeah.
shop changing room. I was like,
Yeah.
couldn't kids come in here? Like, but okay.
I showed Rachel that picture. She went, "Anyone who drew that picture has never seen the female anatomy, because it does
Yeah.
not belong in that place."
No.
So
Very funny, but I think continental Europeans are less conservative when it comes to that sort of thing than Brits. So,
yeah, it's interesting because I talk to people all over the world when I do the the consultations. I literally ask the people if they're in other countries, especially if they're in like Qatar, like, is this offensive? Do you want me to move? Because
right, yeah,
different countries
yeah,
have
completely.
different things. So, but generally, so everyone's been fine. So, I've kind of stopped asking after that.
You'd get arrested in some places with that, wouldn't you?
Probably, yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
But like in other places, they'd be like, "Well, it's not very graphic. Can you show me some more?"
Yeah, true. So your trip to Copenhagen.
Copenhagen. Yeah. So I went to Copenhagen. There was only one fish related story. I didn't think to look up fish stores. Actually, I didn't. I've only just realised I could have done that. I don't know if they've got any there. But there was on the taxi ride from the airport to the hotel. I just like suddenly saw that we were just driving along, just looking around. I suddenly saw this blue glow, like my neck spun round as quick as you can imagine. And there was a restaurant called Wok, I think it was called, a Thai restaurant.
Yeah.
And there was a blue glow, and I thought I saw a reef tank. I looked it up, and it had a reef tank in there.
Oh, really?
It was like 20 feet long. It was really long, but I didn't. It was too far out to go back and go to, and the weekend wasn't really about that. But I did. My instant reaction was, "Let's go tonight."
Yeah. One
but
of
I
my
didn't.
neighbors has a glowing blue light that's upstairs in their house. But it's not quite the right blue, and I'm just like, is it a fish tank? And it's upstairs? Probably not. And it's not like the deep blue color. It's more like a light blue. But
Yeah.
every time I drive past at night, I'm like, I want to know. I want to know what that is.
They'd. Oh, I was going to say they'd know, because if you live in that area you're likely to know you, but actually not
That's true, actually,
necessarily.
because my neighbors do know that there is someone that has a coral farm. Then remember, there's like probably 100 or 200 houses here, isn't there? On the like the little village bit here, and like Rachel sometimes has spoken to other people, and they're like, "Oh, you live with the fish guy." So people know that I'm here. They just don't know which house it is or necessarily.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it got around.
Yeah. Okay. But there you go. But before we get on to other stuff,
Yeah,
we've been doing so last weekend. I don't know what you were doing, but actually, do you know what? So because our weekend reefing was basically us doing something yesterday. But what have you
correct.
been up to for the last fortnight?
Um, So the same as previously. I'm actually slowly winding the systems down. I've got the top tank mostly empty now.
Mhm.
Um, so that I can strip it down. The issue with the tank I may have solved, but I don't know yet. So I'm not sure the best. I tried to describe this to you yesterday, and it was easier to probably describe in person. But so if you can help me along a bit if I'm not quite saying it
Mhm.
correctly. But with our tanks, when we have lids on them, sometimes you get algae that grows up the side of the glass and then onto the underside of the lid if your water level's at the very top. That creates like a transfer, and then you get salt creep around the lid. Have you got salt creep around your lid?
I don't
Because I
think
have it
so,
on the water box.
but that's
Where
called. I think that's called wicking. So
is that? What
when
I don't.
water can go upwards and then
Yeah,
dribble over and go down. So I think that's what that is.
yeah. So basically, the salt creep allow it. There's beneath. Sorry, that separates that's in between the lid and the glass of the tank. Um, gives the water the ability to essentially like siphon its way out in the coral farm because it touches up against wood, which obviously absorbs water.
Mhm.
So I didn't realize this. Because I have a wooden beam that goes under the floor, the water appears to be siphoning down one of the legs and then under the floor and then up another one of the legs and then into the tank and dripping through the stand into the center of the tank. Um, I found it the other day and I was like, oh my god, the tank is leaking. I had a customer who was about to turn up. I was like, you cannot come in. I'm like, I need you to go because I need to deal with this to go. And like one of those situations where you're like, I don't need to deal with anyone right now. This is an emergency.
Mhm.
I said, look, I think the tank's leaking. I need to go get some silicone just in case. Because at this point, it's like 5 o'clock, I think. And like, if the fish shop closes, I can't get any more
Yeah.
silicone. So, um, anyway, so it turned out that it wasn't that. And I started to look around the system and I noticed that the back of I have these filter boxes made especially for filter media, and the
Mhm.
back of them there was like a sheet of salt where it must have been doing it for ages for there to be. I could, like when you get like a sheet of ice and you can almost like lift it off
Yeah.
something. It was
Yeah.
like that, but for salt. And then I started to follow the wood because I noticed it was wet. And then I went under the stairs, which, as I said, you can't see because they're covered. You have to literally like get a light and your phone to try and film to see.
Mm.
And I realized that it was like wet everywhere, but it wasn't wet like a puddle. It was only wet on the wood, so it was only dripping just enough to be absorbed. But then it
Right.
was actually dripping into the tank from underneath the stand because that's also made of wood. Um, and then when I got rid of all the salt, it stopped. So that's fine. But I wonder if that's what's been causing the problem because there'll be something in that wood, which is the wood's been treated, so it
Mm.
must have been treated with chemicals. So could that be causing it? I
But
possibly.
it's only affecting one tank, and there are two tanks on the same system, right? So why would that whatever's leaking from that wood not be
I
circulating?
know, I know, but I'm clutching at straws at the moment. I'm just like, well, I know what
Mm.
you mean. Where you go, well, why is it only? Well, in theory, the only thing it could be is the lights. That's the only thing that's difference between the two of them. There's nothing else.
Isn't
Like,
stray voltage the best bet? That was what
yeah,
you were talking about the other week.
but would that be one of them? Would that only affect one tank?
I
Because I
don't
get electric shock on the bottom tank as well,
I do. Right. Okay.
and it's only sometimes. So, but I've ordered a what's they called? I said to you yesterday, the
Grounding probe.
grounding probes. Yes, I've ordered a grounding probe to see if that gets rid of it, but you can't seem. I think it's coming from America. But for some reason, grounding probes are not a thing in the UK. I cannot find one with a UK plug socket. So, and they're not cheap either. They're like 30 quid.
I wonder why that is. You'd have
I
thought
don't.
grounding
I don't know if the
maybe.
electrics are different over
I
there
was
or
going to say
something.
that feels like a regulation thing. So in the news later, there's a piece of equipment, and in America they get 8 plugs, and in the UK and Europe we only get 6, which must
Is
be
that is that better or worse for us? I don't know.
it's worse because we'll come on to it later. It don't really. It's not the end of the world,
Yeah.
but yeah, and you get voltages are different in the US. It's 110 volts in the US, and it's 230 or 240 here. I think it's about to change from one to the other. I think I can never remember which is, but
Les
I
seems to
think
know what grounding like how they work. See, on Ultra Reef, if you Google grounding probes, it says that they're no different to having a titanium heater. But then I've got a titanium heater. If a grounding probe should get rid of stray voltage, then I shouldn't feel anything, should I?
yeah.
So
So I don't know how any of this works, but
that's the problem. No one
doesn't
seems to
make
know how it
sense.
works.
Yeah. Well, even so, we spoke to an electrician yesterday, and he was like, "Don't know."
Yeah. So
But
like
I
we'll
don't know.
see if we'll see if it solves the problem. If it is stray voltage and that does solve it, then brilliant. But
Yeah,
I'm
probably not.
I'm skeptical of that too. But I don't know. So that is, as I said, week on week, things don't change very much for me. And because
Oh, hang on. So we have an earth on most plugs. The US doesn't. So if you rewire a plug, you get 3. You get live, neutral, and earth, don't you? So I wonder if they
yes,
don't have that because our plugs actually like and there every now and then Great Britain invents some really amazing stuff. The internet, for example. All right, that was
yeah,
us. Uh, our plugs are like the best plugs ever. They've just got like a million built-in safety features that you don't realize until you actually look into it. But I wonder if that's I wonder if that's a thing. I don't know.
I've just realised something as
So maybe
well.
we don't need grounding probes because we have Earth. I don't know. Come on, what have you realised?
If people are saying a titanium heater is the same as a grounding probe, which I don't know if that is. That's just
Mhm,
what it says on the forums.
mhm.
They're only on temporary. They're not always connected, are they? Now I don't know if that makes a difference if they're on or
Right.
not. So
Is it just
maybe
the presence of titanium that does it, or does it need to be running? Yeah.
I know, but what I find interesting is that I don't get a shock all the time. The shock's really, really minor. So it would make sense. I always thought that it was the heaters causing it because if the shocks are intermittent, it would be when the heater's on, but it might be when the heaters are off. That is it's not doing. I don't know.
Well,
There are
the other
no
weird
facts
thing,
here.
so we were doing a tank move yesterday for a friend who got an
Yeah,
enormous tank, and
yeah,
so there's this massive holding tank, right?
yeah,
Massive vat. I don't know, 1,000 liters, 2,000 liters. It's enormous.
yeah.
It's like a paddling pool, but just like an industrial one. And that's where all
I
the
think
fish
it's
were.
4,000 liters. What it is, I think
4,000 liters is
it's bigger
big.
than
It
his actual
is
tank.
is it? Oh, it's bloody massive. Anyway, that was full of salt water, and all the fish and corals were in there.
Yeah,
You, the guy whose tank it was, and his dad
yeah.
were all getting electric shocks every time you put your hand in there. You got
Yeah.
it so bad that it like made you dropped the thing in your hand because it
Yeah,
was
I was holding like a little pot with water in it, and
yeah,
I poured the water, and then obviously that created a connection between the
yeah,
water and what me holding it as I
yeah.
was pouring it,
The electricity
and I
went
immediately
upstream.
it was
Yeah.
like I just threw it because it shocked me. It was bad. That was one of the worst shocks I'd had from a fish tank.
And
I'm
yeah,
not
so
saying
I had my
it didn't like blow me across the room, but
no, no, no,
it
but it was
definitely
bad.
like
But what
yeah
I'm saying is you were all getting shocks. I didn't
yeah
get any shock. I had my hands in that tank loads. I didn't get a
yeah.
single shock. So
Jamie was standing in the tank. I was worried for him.
yeah, exactly. But we actually, to be fair, we realized we worked out why that was, didn't we?
Did we? Why
It's because
were
I'm a
we?
double-hard bastard and you're all
Oh,
wheels. And that was
yes.
it.
Yeah, true.
Um,
True.
but yeah, so you've not figured out your problem yet.
Well, I won't know until obviously you have sustained coral growth and no sustained deaths, if you see what I mean. So I won't know if it actually fixes it. I'm assuming that means that if people are saying that we don't need it because of our plugs or whatever, that I've just wasted my money on a grounding probe. But we'll see. I'll probably put it in anyway, just see if it makes a difference.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
they've just
answer
said
to
that
all
it
of your
doesn't matter if it's
problems.
on or off because it's permanently connected to Earth.
Okay. I don't
So
understand any of it.
someone fix my problem. I'm getting a shock from my tank. I have what appears to be a grounding probe from the titanium heaters. How is it happening? Someone fix it. Someone tell me.
Yeah. Who knows?
Um, but yeah, other than that, as I said, I that's pretty much it. My entire weekend reefing consists of yesterday. Um,
Yeah.
People will notice this. I am knackered already. I was yawning at 5 minutes past 7, and I'm like, oh, this is not a good start. Because it is if ever you've moved a tank, like the biggest tank I've ever tried to move was obviously 1,000 liter tank, and that was hard work. I would say I did it on my own, and I would say it was one of the hardest days of my life in terms of moving.
Yeah, I moved a 2-foot tank, and that was
Yeah,
the worst day of my life. Mega stressful. So
yeah.
times that by 10 for yours.
Yeah, it was. But Jamie's tank, I think, is like 3.5 to 4,000 liters. I think somewhere
So
between
this
that.
the top picture is what the tank looked like, and that
Yeah,
there is a person there, but you can't really see him. There's a
yeah, it's
door there, so you
crazy.
can give some scale. But was it 10 feet long? Something like that. It's
Something like
massive.
that. Yeah,
It's enormous.
yeah,
3,000 liters, 1,000 gallon is massive. And then the bottom picture is that holding vat that I was talking about, it's like a public aquarium, basically.
yeah.
um,
You can actually use it as like a jacuzzi afterwards.
yeah, you could do, yeah. But it was, that was so for me. So I got there on the Saturday morning about 9 o'clock, and
Yeah.
you guys had been you started on Friday, right?
So Jamie actually started on Thursday, and he put the majority of the water in. I'd say he probably put in, I don't know, 2,800 liters. Then Jamie and I took another like another big chunk of it on the Thursday, and we set up the UV sterilizer and things like that. But Friday, well, not Friday, sorry. No, yeah, sorry, Saturday. Yeah, Friday we did it on Friday, and then Saturday was the big day. It
Yeah.
was we started at 7. We live a bit closer than Alex does. Alex, you're about like an hour and a half away, whereas I'm like 15 minutes away. So yeah, so we started at 7, and I'd worked out a plan with Jamie before it started, where he was like, right, I said like, well, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be here with you at his house. We'll have Alex and Chris at the other place, and we'll have your dad driving in between to transfer the fish and coral. I got there, and Jamie immediately went, right, you're in charge of this tank,
Yeah.
and because there's some electrics to do at the other place, and then disappeared.
Yeah.
So it was like, right, where do I start? Because it was like these colonies are like unreal, aren't they? How would
Two,
you know
3 feet across, they're
the
massive.
big colonies are like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
but this is bird's nest. So if you've ever had a bird's nest coral, it grows fast.
Yeah,
And this is the tank was 5 years old, something like that. And
yeah,
it's an enormous tank, so he's never fragged it, just lets it
yeah,
grow. It was literally 2 feet across in
yeah.
every direction.
It was well sharp and well fragile, and
Yeah.
it's like, right, how do I deal with this? So you just it's the same with any tank breakdown basically, because obviously I've done loads of these before. You just pick something and you just start. You just pick up, and there were some corals I had to smash up because they were like not smash up, but like break into like huge chunks because it was just impossible. Remember, you can't reach to the bottom of the tank, can you? Like to
No.
get to the bottom of the tank.
How tall is it? 3 feet tall?
Maybe, yeah, probably 3 feet. I'd say maybe, I don't know, maybe more. But to get to the top of the tank, I was lying on top of it, and my feet were touching the ceiling, weren't they? The other end,
Yeah.
as like an anchor point, as I was trying to get stuff out the bottom. But
Yeah.
it was, it's a fun day, I would say. I know it's hard work, but I said to you afterwards, it's like I wouldn't want to do this as a job, like because. But to help out like a friend, it's like it's something different. It's a bit of a laugh, isn't it? He also has like I'm not very good with sizes, but maybe like 2.5 foot shark, or is it 2 foot?
Yeah, about that. Yeah. What
Yeah,
epaulet shark is it? What is it?
epaulet shark. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
it's like
I don't know
it's
what
like
it is.
thick and muscular, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But it was funny because I didn't realize because when so I was at the house where you were with the tank,
Yeah,
and I asked how you got the shark out,
yeah.
and you said, "Oh, just with my hands."
Yeah,
I was,
I was lying. I was just pretending I was like,
and
just getting this shark out of my
but that
hands.
I didn't think because it's not like a great white or anything. I was just like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then Jamie asked me later at the other place with the holding tank when we had the shark, we'd taken it over to the holding place, and
Yeah,
he needed to put it in the tank. And he said, "How did Ryan do this?" I said, "Oh, he just did it with his hands," which it turns out wasn't right. So
No.
it would have been hilarious if it like bit him or something. But not that
Yeah.
funny. But you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
yeah. So, but it was fine actually. And actually, that was the one thing that was. So I almost always. Oh, I don't know. Maybe half the time actually. Most of the time, if I transfer fish, I do it with a net from a
Yeah.
bucket. Like if I buy new
Yeah.
fish and put it in a tank, I do it with my hands sometimes. But with these fish, I was transferring loads of them, and they're all quite big, like big
Yeah.
tangs, like
Yeah.
dinner plate sized tangs. And a lot of them, when you put your hand in and just like coax them onto their side,
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, okay, that's fine, I trust you. And then
Yeah.
they don't flap, like their side fin flaps a tiny bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they don't like go crazy. Some of them didn't like it, but most of them were just like, yep, that's okay, just push me over. So it
Yeah.
was actually really easy. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's really easy when they're in the bucket, not in a 3,000 litre tank, and I
I know.
gotta catch them first.
Well, then
Yeah.
you're ending in a position. So this 10 foot by 3 foot tank,
Yeah.
or 4 foot front to back, probably. You'd siphon out as much of water as you could do. There was about an inch of water at the bottom, and there were
Yeah.
like 5 damsels. This is all silty,
Oh,
so you can't
we've
see.
not even got to
Visibility
the
is zero.
we've not even got to that bit yet. The
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
with
okay.
so we get all the corals out, and then I start catching the fish with. So I went and picked up some koi nets, which were absolutely they were
Mm,
brilliant because koi nets are like made of rubber. They're not
yeah,
made of like material, so none of the fish got caught in them. Not a single one. And there's I reckon there's probably like 70 fish in that tank, and some of these are like huge, like dinner plate sized.
yeah.
Um, and there was a little bit of stress because on the other side, once you take all the coral out and you siphon the water out, it then becomes interesting for Jamie's kids. So I
Yeah,
had an
yeah.
audience all of a sudden where I'm catching the fish, and you can see Jamie's wife and his 3 kids. They're filming it on their iPad, and I'm going, "Oh God, let's just try and do this like as quickly as possible with as gently as possible." All the fish, because at that point they'd realized what was going on, and we'd take all the rocks out. So the fish were trying to hide behind the biggest fish.
Oh,
So so they were all in the corner. All these little fish were hiding behind this massive Atlantic blue tang
hmm.
that was half out the water by this point. But so yeah, that was it. So we got those fish out. And those are the fish. If you look on my Instagram, you see they're all in buckets, and it's just continuously. There's like a conveyor belt, isn't there? Like you go to the other end, and then you're like pouring them out. I think I don't really know quite what was going on the other end, but
So
you're
some of the fish. So if there was a bucket full of fish, right, and there was no, I can't see on your Instagram. Anyway, if there was a bucket full of fish,
if you look at my
if there,
Instagram, you can. It's not the first picture. Is in you have to
I
click
can't find it.
second or
But anyway,
third.
if there's a bucket full of fish, if there were some big tangs, I'd pick them out by hand.
Yeah,
But if there was like 10 of them and they were all damsels and clownfish and small,
yeah,
I'd just pour the bucket in and like log
yeah,
flick them
yeah.
in. And they were all
I,
like,
th- I, thought, I thought that's what you're doing anyway. So
it probably would have been fine, but just with the bigger fish, I felt like I don't know. I just felt like it was better to
I the
transfer them
one
by
thing
hand.
I will say is the more if you're going to move a tank, the more people, the better.
Mm.
Like I we could have had probably two. Could we have had more people? I suppose. I mean,
To be honest, I felt like more people wouldn't have been better.
yeah, because I suppose there's actually a like a bottleneck in the middle, isn't there? Where of the
Exactly. Yeah.
driving, yeah, and there's
And
only
there were
so many
times when
people.
I was stood around like, well, I don't really know what to do here. So
It's interesting. There was never times when I was stood around.
yeah, but
Not
to be
until
fair,
the end, to be
you and
honest.
Jamie were like the doing most of it, and I
Yeah.
was your lackey basically, wasn't I? So
Yeah, I wonder if I would get too bossy. I always think about this at Accra as well, where I become very like military in those
you need
situations.
that. You need one person to be like, do this, and everyone else to be like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, fine. Because if you've
yeah. I
got
said to
everyone
Chris,
doing the same, then it's just like too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
yeah, I said to Chris at the end, I always wonder if I'm too like forceful and just Chris, I need you to do this, and he went, no, just everyone just needs to get on with it. But because I'm
Exactly. Yeah.
like that at Aqua, it's like a military like exercise, isn't it? When you have to set these things up. But yeah, so obviously once the fish were out, it was like ankle deep water and sand, and I developed this leave no fish behind policy, didn't I? Where I said absolutely no chance, and I hadn't planned this. I got in the tank, didn't I? I got in the tank. I changed. It's actually Les just reminded me. Like I've just realised. So there was a fish shop which moved once, and I did exactly the same thing where I took charge again. So it says Ryan took charge of Reef Crater's Moon Day and then left quickly. I don't remember leaving quickly. I remember getting everyone there and getting it set up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it doesn't sound like me, but it's possible. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so then there was a few fish left. There was like 10 damselfish, and there were 3 missing wrasse, weren't there? We just and the wrasse had gone into the sand, and by this point, the sand was like so murky, wasn't it? So I just decided to get in. I changed into shorts, got into the tank, and we decided to sift through the sand one scoop at a time with a sieve. And weirdly, I didn't never expect this to work. Wrasse were appearing in the sieve. And then after that, I was like, right, once I had caught the last 3 wrasse, that was it. I was out. And then there was just like 3 damsels left, wasn't there? In this
tiny.
It was like poop-colored water.
Yeah, you couldn't see, the visibility was not good. I was convinced that because there are so many fish in such a big tank, I thought there's with wrasse as well, when they're scared they go in the sand. I thought there's no way you're going to get all the wrasses, but I think I'm almost certain you found them all. So
there was only 4. Well, Jamie told me there was 4, and I found 4. So I wasn't ready to leave the tank, and I was in there probably for about at least an hour and maybe an hour and a half, wasn't I? Just trying to scoop the sand out. And that's why I'm like a broken man today. I hurt everywhere. So
this is you bent over in the tank.
Yeah, because you can't sit down because you can't see in that picture, but like there's water in the bottom, so you can't like get down on your knees, but you can't stand up either because so you're like just hunched over.
It's about 5 feet of space, and you're what, 6 foot? So
yeah, but it was look. As I said, I enjoyed it. I spoke to Jamie today. He said all the fish are done well. There's one clownfish which he couldn't find today. But we saw it literally yesterday at like probably 5 o'clock, wasn't it? So, I mean,
was that the two clownfish?
Yeah, there was. He has like they're just normal, like
they were definitely in there.
Picasso clownfish or something. Yeah,
if this will work. I don't think that will work. But he's just sent a video. He's obviously watching. Hi, Jay.
Oh, he's listening, isn't he? Hopefully, you haven't said anything not good.
He's got the lights on, so it's looking really good. You have to take my word.
Yeah, it's Look, it's funny because like I text him this morning. I care. I want this to like be success. Oh, there you go. Thanks for your help, guys. He's here. It's really important. It's funny because it's really important to all of us. Even Chris said the night before, he couldn't sleep because he was so nervous about it going well. So, but as I said, we got there, and I look forward to it, hopefully, like everything going smoothly, and it'll be a beautiful tank in his new house. So
yeah,
because they have to stay in the holding facility for a period of time, don't they? Yes. Yeah. There was one fish at the end when Jamie was like hoovering the last remaining sand out. A fish had fallen down from the top, and I didn't notice this at first. There was just this dead fish that was on the floor. And it was one of the wrasse that went missing from ages ago. And it was like, and the reason I mention this, so often when you move a tank, you find a crispy fish somewhere, don't you?
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's always a wrasse usually.
Yeah, or a goby.
So, or a goby. That happened to you, didn't it? You said
yesterday your cat my Blue Believo, I pulled it out, I broke it down, and I saw a little crispy goby behind the cabinet. Yeah. Must have been there for months. And the cat ran straight over and ate it. This scabby, like decaying fish.
He's recycling it.
Yeah, well, it's good. Don't go to waste, I suppose, but like, animal.
But did you learn anything from yesterday?
Did I learn anything? Yeah, don't answer the phone when Ryan rings.
I'm not sure. I didn't ring, did I? I sent you a message first going, you do anything tomorrow?
You briefed me about this weeks ago, and I was So, I don't know if I learned anything. I don't know. What did you learn? Tell me.
I just think prep. If we hadn't had that net, it would have been so much. If we had those, imagine having little hand nets. It'd be so hard work to try and catch things. So
the 7 Ps, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know what they are, but I'm sure you do.
Proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance.
yeah, there you go. And I think and it actually went much quicker than I thought it was going to be honest. I thought
it didn't take long. Yeah.
I think Jamie was still there, obviously still there.
There was still a ton of work. Yeah, like see, that's actually the bulk of it, moving the fish over. in a way, that's the easy part. It's all the fiddly little jobs, and there will be thousands of them.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. So yeah.
Jamie said he learned don't move more than 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah, well, that was the good thing. It was literally 3 minutes away, wasn't it?
As
So
if you moved to a house that was like 40 minutes away or half an hour away.
so
That would be
maybe that was part of why it was stressful for me, because the house move I did with that small tank was
yeah,
an hour. Yeah, it was an
yeah,
hour each way.
yeah.
So
He seemed calm, didn't he? Though
yeah, I would have
he
been
did.
well more stressed than that.
Yeah, I remember when we did move your tank, didn't we? There was there was something we did which I remember seeing you. I was like, I've never seen you this stressed. It was
When
when it was either when we moved your tank in.
Oh yeah. When we moved the tank in, yeah. Because it was
But there might,
it was an expensive tank. All right, I didn't pay for
yeah.
it, but nonetheless, I don't want things to go
Oh
wrong.
no, of course.
And
There was another time. When were we catching your fish? There was a time we were
well,
catching your fish.
when you were looking after them.
Yeah, I
But
remember.
it was
I
funny
remember.
because I was talking to them, and you were like, "Oh God, he really cares because he's talking to them." I just talk to fish. I'm just mental.
You were talking to Jamie's fish as well
I was.
yesterday.
I was like, "Sorry, it's
He-
all right, lads, don't
the
worry,
fi-
it's okay."
Afterwards, the fish said to me, "Who's this
Yeah,
weird guy?" Weirdo.
but yeah. Good fun.
It made me to some extent want a big tank, but like
I
not
don't know.
really. I think there's so much variety in that tank. There's an eel. This I know the sharks obviously a separate section, but like it's having all these creatures. With a big tank, you have so many options of what you can do.
Yeah,
Because he's got all these angelfish in there with corals and things like that,
cowfish.
doesn't he?
Yeah,
So
boxfish, whatever.
it's just
Cowfish.
yeah, the cowfish as well. That was the easiest fish to catch. That was like, yeah, I'll go.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the other thing that we noticed as well, they recovered surprisingly quickly, didn't they? Like the
Yeah,
fish,
they were obviously very stressed. Some of them
yeah,
like just went into catatonic, like, eh. But then within like 10 minutes of being in the tank, they were just swimming around, pecking at the rocks, just like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
yeah.
This is my new house. I'm all right with that.
But yeah, I would say that's the majority of my week in reefing. I would say.
Okay.
What about yours?
Yeah, I do. So I have a couple other things really. So I've got the aquas right. I'm now almost ready to make a review. I bought some reagent for my Hannah checker this weekend, and Hannah checker reagent goes off over time. I think it's because it
Yeah,
absorbs when you open it, it absorbs CO2, and the whole process is based on pH. So slowly
yeah,
it'll go off over time. And I've done a test on that new versus old reagent. It does go off.
that's
My
interesting.
stuff is still in date. There's a video on the Reef Dork channel. No doubt you'll have already watched it.
Oh,
Um,
definitely twice.
yeah. But it was like I think it was like a 6 month old. I tried it with a brand new reagent, one that was in date but 6 months old, and one that was out of date by 6 months. And
Yeah,
actually, the one that was out of date wasn't that far off, but the one that was brand new was half a DKH difference, something like that. So it does make a difference. But anyway, the that's so I bought my current alkalinity reagent is in date, but
yeah,
I want to be absolutely sure. If I'm going to be telling people on the internet
yeah, yeah,
that it's accurate, I want to be sure it's accurate. So I've bought a new reagent, so I can now test and see how it's getting on. But I really like it so far. But the one thing is, it's quite noisy. I'm not going to play the noise on this because I posted a video on Instagram earlier, and a couple of people saying mine's nowhere near as noisy as that. And that's
yeah,
actually when I listen back to it, it's just I don't know if it's the microphone adjuster, turn it up or whatever. It's not as noisy as it sounds. So if you
yeah,
do
yeah,
watch it on Instagram, don't worry, it's not that bad. But it
yeah.
is noisy. It buzzes because it's uses an airstone, and airstones are noisy. But I made it a little shushy cave. So it's this
Is it
thing.
automated?
What do you mean?
As in, like, does it take water out of your tank, or do you put water
Yes.
in it?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. It's got Jason Pub takes water out, but this is an IKEA Ecket EKET cabinet, and I've
Yeah.
covered it in mass loaded vinyl and vibration dampening mat,
Yeah.
and it's made a big difference now. So it's much quieter.
If you do the
Uh,
glass as well, it'll be even more. It'll be even better.
that's so. First off, I ran out of the dampening mat. I've got more
Yeah.
mass loaded vinyl, but the dampening mat is really good. So I would need to buy another load of that. It's not very expensive. It's just I ran out of time today. But also then it will block it so I can't see it, and then
Yeah.
I've got another thing to get out of the way. But I might do that as well, to be fair. So,
From what
but
you said
yes,
about the look of it, that might be a good thing.
yeah, it is. It does look funky, but who cares? Like Deltec skimmers.
Yeah.
I had a Deltec skimmer a couple of years ago. Build quality is awful, frankly.
Yeah.
It's really cheap
Is
plastic.
it? I
I've
didn't
had
know
a
that.
bit snap off. It's just compared to like a Nios. I don't like
Yeah.
Nios skimmers, but man, they're
Yeah.
well built. They're really well
Yeah.
built.
Yeah. I agree.
Bubble King that I've got, the Royal Exclusive, that's even better. The Deltec is terrible build quality, probably even worse than the what are the cheap ones, Bubble Magus ones that
Yeah.
I've had in the past. But it's a fantastic skimmer. I just don't care for the
Yeah.
build quality because it's not something you regularly move around. You know, you might
Yeah.
strip it down once every year and clean it if that. But it's brilliant.
Once a year.
Yeah, I know you're like what
Once
once
every
every
5
10
years.
Yeah, exactly. But so it doesn't matter that it's like it looks a bit janky. It works. I mean, we're like 2 weeks in, but still.
Look, if it works, I don't care what it looks like. I don't even care how noisy it is because I just said it. So
Well,
the only
you're using in the farm, so
yeah, and it would also work for me actually because if that's the only problem. I think I would rather have it separate from the tank because obviously I have 3 tanks and I'd rather just put water in it, press a button, walk away, than have it doing automatically. Because I know you can't have it tested. You can't have it testing every single day that way, and it won't be continuous. But I'll be able to just put the water in from each tank and then test it. Otherwise, I've got to have 3 of them, don't I?
you wouldn't be able to do that, but because it's filled with tank water, so
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
have to have 3. But that's a
Okay.
really weird. You did that with your Reef bot, like you brought a sample of water over to it and then press test. That's a
Yeah,
really weird way of doing it.
but I got 3 tanks to test.
Still, but
So
just get 3.
I have no doubt that someone, probably Red Sea, will end up bringing out because you've seen the new thing they've just brought out, don't you? It's
Yeah.
similar to what other I know it was probably in the
Oh,
news, I assume.
yeah.
But it's so this technology usually comes out and then Red Sea then goes, oh, we'll make one of these.
So Red Sea have
So,
told me before a couple of
yeah,
times that we don't just if a new product comes out, we don't just bring one out as well just to say we can
yeah,
say
yeah,
we've got one. We'd rather sit back and take our time and make it right, which is why their filter roller's got loads of clever features
yeah,
and why some others look very, very similar.
yeah.
So yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know if they'll copy that technology, but I would like some of the big
I think
boys to copy it.
if it works as well as you say it does, and it works like that long term, that is the future of
So that's the
alkalinity.
thing. Long term is the issue, and I just can't tell you that now. But
Yeah,
if it would be more expensive, that's 700 quid at the moment.
yeah,
And if you make it nice and give it a fancy app and all that, it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
grand.
yeah.
So
True.
then even then you'd have to decide, well, do I want the 700 quid one that's really basic, or do I want the one with a fancy app that integrates to my other app
Yeah, true.
and pay them more money? But then there's more options. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, what else have I been up to? Oh, well, no, I don't know.
Oh, I'm
Etsy.
intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Reef,
If you're not sure if you want to talk about it, I definitely want to talk about it.
no, it's not even that. So reefdork.etsy.com, the world's leading aquarium 3D printed accessories page, selling website, hit 1,000 sales today.
No, that's quite a lot.
It's all right, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
That's more than I expected.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. And to celebrate, I'm doing a 0% discount indefinitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Use the code ReefDork0.
yeah,
But yeah, 1,000 sales, so that's really good.
that is good.
And apart from that, the only other thing I've got to tell you about is a new tank, Ryan. Ooh,
Oh,
which is
that's big news.
yeah, exactly. That's the
The
headline
only
topic.
other thing, as if it's
I know,
something
I'm
small.
gonna get a new tank around. So yeah, I won't tell you what tank it is as yet. And I was gonna.
No, I know
was
what it is already.
Well, yeah, I won't tell everybody else. And I'll wait till I'll wait till I've actually got it. But I've got it on order and it's coming. I had in the end. So I've talked about other tanks in the past, but in the end, I rounded it down to 3 tanks that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I hadn't decided if I was going to just buy one or ask if someone can give me one. The
Yeah.
company that I wanted it from most, the one like the top of my list, I emailed them like a month ago, maybe longer, and I said, "Look, do you fancy sending me one? This is what I'm going to use it for, basically." And I didn't hear back from them, so I just thought, okay, that's out the window. And I started to look at. There were 2 other options I was looking at as well,
Yeah.
and I didn't approach anyone else in the end, but I would have done eventually.
Yeah.
But this company came back to me this week, not quite out of the blue, but after a while,
Yeah.
she said, "Hey, got your email? Yep, let's do it." So,
There you go.
couple of weeks, few weeks, a month. It's not going to be long, and it'll be here.
Yeah.
but it's going to be bigger than the Cade.
Oh no, that tank needs to go upstairs. And you now realize that I'm like helpful with moving tanks.
I can do this on my own. It's easy.
Can you?
Yeah,
Upstairs.
I got the Cade up here, and the cabinet on that Cade is so heavy. It's only
I was only
little.
joking anyway. I'll probably.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
But you're fine. It's 200 liters roughly.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work out. I've gone back and forwards on it. I've got two plans, and
Yeah.
I can't do both. I need to do one or the other. And what I'm trying to work out is whether I should do a tank that mostly focuses on the fish, or one that
Yeah.
mostly focuses on the corals. Because at the moment, and I'll show you the state of my main tank. So this is my main tank. It's a
Yeah.
small video, to be fair. But what I'm enjoying most at the moment in that tank, and you can't see them so much now in this video, but is the fish. There's loads of fish in there now, and
Yeah.
it looks really good for that. Like 9 damsels, like that tang, all this, loads of fish all over the place, and it looks great for that. So I love that I've got a tank that's mainly about the fish, but I'm also wondering if I should go. So the option A, right? And I'll get everybody in the chat and in the comments afterwards, and you, Ryan, to tell me what you think I should do. Option A is to have a tank that's all about the fish. And when I say all about the fish, I mean it will mean I get to choose some really cool, unique fish that I've never had before, and that I would never buy because they'll probably eat corals. So it's things like a mimic filefish or a Toby puffer, the little funny puffer things, or those
Porcupine
harlequin.
puffer.
No, it's a small tank.
Yeah, I know, but just temporarily.
Okay, a pair of harlequin filefish, maybe a small boxfish, probably not, but those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Really cool fish that they might eat LPS or SPS, but they're probably not going to eat softies. So I'd put a load of softies in with them, and if they do eat softies, well, so be it. I'll just try a different softie.
Yeah.
So that's option A, is to have a softie tank with toadstools, GSP, Xenia, your favorite, clove polyps, those sorts of things, flowing, really easy, low maintenance as well. Just water changes, that's it. So that is the option A.
Yeah.
Option B, and I know you're going to roll your eyes and go, oh God, when I say this.
It's going to be an acro tank, isn't it?
Acros.
No.
Why not?
It's interesting because like already someone said they're voted for coral only. Like
it wouldn't be coral only. It wouldn't be coral only.
No, but
what I realized when I had my when I had my white spot outbreak and I had to take all of the fish out, it just had corals in there, nothing else, obviously, because all the fish had come out. It was boring. There were some amazing corals in there, a couple of which I've lost that were a couple of my favorites. Amazing corals, but it was boring without the fish. And conversely, when I look at a fish only tank with no corals, even if they're cool fish, I find it boring. So
you're thinking about my tank, aren't you? When you say that,
no, I wasn't actually, but but it's not as exciting. So for me, I have to have fish and corals. There's just no way I would have a tank without one or the other. So it's not going to be a coral only tank. It's just that I would choose fish if I have an acro tank, or even if it's a beginner SPS tank like Montes and Stylos or whatever. If I have an SPS tank, I would choose fish that are not going to eat the polyps. So I'm not going to have any angelfish in there. There's no puffer fish, no filefish, all that sort of stuff. So
I would go for the fish if I were you. I would go for the fish and pick fish that you like just cannot have, like you said, the weird ones, things that are like just. As I said, I would even if you could get porcupine pufferfish are ones that come in really small sizes. Like they literally like this when you get them. Sometimes they're really small. Now I know you couldn't keep it long term, but it's one of those things where like you sell fish and coral all the time. So why is it any different to move it on? And they're a fish that almost everyone who has a fish only tank wants. So they can be a bit bitey with other small fish, though. So that look, it depends whether you get a good one or a bad one. So sometimes you get a bad one, then
I'm not really that keen on that, but I do like the idea of a pygmy, like a Toby puffer. I think they're really cool.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They are cool, but I don't
porcupines are cooler. Yeah,
they just have there's something about they're like smiling at you.
Eyes. Yeah,
they got this little face like this, like. For the people on the podcast, I just did a smiling face.
But like you've got like a little yellow boxfish as well, maybe one of them.
I know. I just think if you're going to go that way, I think you should like properly push the limits with regards to what you put in there. Like
What do you
and
mean?
then add the corals. Although you think that things don't eat soft corals, I actually think soft corals are one of the things that they eat the most.
So I'm thinking that they're most likely to be safe, but I'm not thinking, oh, there's no problem. It's only soft corals. There's no way
Yeah,
they'll eat them. It might well all go pear shaped. So,
I actually
but
think you
the
should.
thing is, I'm okay with that. If I put fish like that in my main tank, if they started nipping at a coral, they're out.
Yeah,
Whereas in this, if they started nipping at a coral, that's fine. Buy a different coral.
yeah. The problem with soft corals, people go, oh, it'll be fine. When they nip a soft coral, they close up and they never open again. I mean, if you take the fish away, they'll open up again,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
they'll just be permanently sad.
It'll look rubbish.
And
Yeah,
yeah, so even if you go, oh, it's not doing any damage, it just looks rubbish. Yeah.
yeah, this is
Um,
true.
this is what I actually think you should do. I think that you should have a high end, very, very specific soft coral tank. So where it looks nice,
Mhm.
um, and you don't have to do much maintenance on it because that's the big thing where you don't really have to care that much about the parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like every tank. So like rather
Exactly.
than have
That's what I'm trying to avoid, right? Because a lot of my tanks look fairly similar. I think they've got better over the years, to be fair.
yeah.
But I don't just want another LPS tank or another SPS tank that's boring. It's got the same old stuff as everyone. It's got to be different, and I'm bored of the same old thing.
Les said, just so happens Ryan has all these corals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, the I just think because the other thing is by doing it that way, you're not gonna. It's unlikely that if they do nip something, that they'll destroy it. Like so,
Yeah.
if they'll nip a mushroom, if they're not gonna eat the whole mushroom. They'll just close it up.
I'll put a bounce mushroom in, and I eat all the bubbles though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what I should probably do with the water box. I like put in that thick gorgonian that
Yeah.
that most people don't have. It's something that's interesting. Put in one of those bright green toadstools rather than a beige
Mhm.
colored one. Like the mushrooms start to get a bit more expensive and things like that, and there's
But
the risk
still,
is.
they're cool.
But yeah, they're cool. Even like jawbreaker mushrooms. They're like you can get those for like if they're small and not particularly like colorful. Everyone that grows, no, well, everyone that grows
Yeah, they're
has the.
boring and rubbish.
No, what I'm saying is it's not about color. It's about how much red's in them. If they're like
Right. Oh,
50%
okay.
gold,
They're still
50% red,
bright. Yeah.
yeah. Those are the sorts of things where they will grow and spread, and you don't have to worry too much about what like the par and how much maintenance you do. I think that should be what you should do. That's what that's my
That's
recommendation.
not a bad idea. And because one thing I said GSP, I don't know. I've had GSP a lot. I haven't
Yeah,
had Xenia for since my first tank. I've only ever had it once, and I do like the
yeah,
idea of that. But to be fair, clove polyps are kind of similar. They don't
yeah.
pulse, do they? But they're
I
still.
got some well like bright. I'm making a sale here, everyone.
Yeah.
But clove polyps come in green, orange, like the papaya ones, which are like purple almost.
Those are the ones I'd go for because they
Yeah,
are cool. Or maybe it may be a mix of a few, and they don't spread so much. They're easier to pull off than Xenia, aren't they? If they do spread, so
yeah. What
so
you should
that's
do,
possible.
you should say to yourself, right? I'm gonna have a soft coral tank, but I'm not gonna have. I've got a limited space. I'm gonna have like things I actually really want. I'm not just going down to the shop and go, oh yeah, Kenyan tree and green star polyps.
Yeah,
Make
yeah.
it something that you're like really proud of. And
Soft.
with regards to those those jawbreaker mushrooms I was talking about,
Mhm.
each one of those is different. So you can have one that has hardly any gold on it that then will make one that's 50% red, 50% gold.
Okay.
And you can have one that's 50% gold, which then 50% red, 50% gold, which then just makes a gold one. So the genetics of them sort of seem to skip. It's not what
Yeah.
you see will reproduce that.
And I can get some cool zoas as well. Things like zoas, I think they're it's not uncommon for fish to eat those. So
It
maybe I'm
depends.
asking for trouble,
Yeah.
but I'd
Uh,
be up for experimenting.
Yeah, it's funny. I was in a Maidenhead once, and I might have told you this story. And I was looking at buying a majestic angel. Someone had actually like reserved it for me. Someone had bought it for me as a gift. And I didn't know. And I went to the shop to go get it. And I was like, "Look, I do want this." And I did say I wanted this, but obviously this fish is a risk with coral. And they went, "Oh no, don't worry about it. We'll put a mushroom in it." Immediately, immediately started pecking at the mushroom, and I was like, now I look at that situation and think, well, that fish is used to food coming from above in a little
Yeah,
tank with
yeah,
nothing else, so that's probably what happened. But it was within like 10 seconds it started
yeah.
eating it, so
Bad
I
sales
didn't take the fish in the end.
pitch. Yeah. But yeah, so I do like the idea of the low maintenance thing is a big thing, because
Yeah,
if I had an acro tank, it's only 200 liters. That's not a lot of water. It's
yeah,
not very forgiving. I'd have to be on it with the testing, which if I'm honest with myself, I wouldn't be,
yeah.
unless I managed to find an auto tester or something that
It
did it.
would
But even then,
ruin
it's calibration and all that.
it would ruin the experience for you. It just
That's
would.
That's it, but I think if I chose them carefully, then maybe that would be okay. But the low maintenance thing is a big deal, and that's what puts me off acros.
Yeah,
Certainly in a small tank, I think it's better, if anything, to when my main tank, my S850, is grown out, pull
yeah,
all of those LPS corals out, replace them with acros, and have that as an acro tank.
yeah,
But the thing that puts me off is the work on that, because I would like this to be simple and low maintenance. But the other thing that puts me off as well is if I were to get things like the Harlequin filefish. So from watching the Serious Reefs videos on those, they are I'm trying not to use the word easy, but they're
yeah,
easier to keep than you might think to get
yeah,
feeding if you do it the right way. So and
yeah,
what Elliot does is he gets an acrylic rod, he puts mastic on it, and then he puts that in the tank, and they come over and start eating it straight away,
yeah,
which is great. And that means I can keep a really cool fish, and I can do it without worrying that they're not going to make it necessarily. But the downside is, if I go away for a weekend, I'm going to be thinking, those fish aren't getting the food. And like I've got a cat sitter who looks after the cat and feeds the fish,
yeah,
but they might pour some mysis in. They're not going to be putting mastic on an acrylic rod and
yeah,
doing that. So I also don't want fish that tie me down, that make me think I don't want to go away on holiday, or I don't want to go away for a week or
yeah,
whatever. So that it might be that those particular fish are a bad idea, but things like a mimic filefish, some pipefish, those sorts of things are cool. Have you just changed your speakers or something? I'm getting an echo.
No, you shouldn't do. I've not done anything.
You haven't done anything?
No,
Oh, no, it's
nothing at all.
we're good. So yeah, so I might stay away from the Harlequin filefish in particular. They're so cool when you get a pair,
Yeah,
but I am thinking, I don't know, they would be hard. So maybe the stuff like Toby puffers and that sort of thing.
I think those are one of the fish similar to copper bands, where selecting the right specimen is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
If you get the right one to begin with, you can have success. One of my customers actually, she unfortunately she had a tank crash, but she had two of them, which like she had no trouble with at all. But they were properly looked after. These fish were fed continuously throughout the day. It wasn't like, for the first 3 days you feed them 3 times a day, and then after that you just go back to feeding them once. They were like well looked after fish.
Yeah.
But I think getting the right one at the beginning makes a massive difference. That's not the same with all fish. If you get a purple tang which isn't great at the beginning, you can like nurture it back to where it needs to be. But
But a
things like
fish that
those,
struggles to eat or has a
yeah,
specific diet, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
sorry,
go on.
no, well, I'm not. It's fine. Keep going.
We've had some suggestions. Fish and anemone tank. Anemone, I did think about, because I think they're unlikely to get eaten by things like
Yeah,
puffers. And if I just had anemones, and soft corals, it wouldn't bother me that the anemones pop off and walk out all over the place, which
yeah.
it does bother me with other corals. But I don't know. Maybe.
What about this? 3 carpet anemones of different colors: red, green, and blue.
Don't like carpet anemones.
Just think of a different tank for you.
Eel tank.
Again, it would be interesting day one, probably.
So I wouldn't have. So first off, you and I, you hate these fish, and I love them. The Hass's garden eels.
I don't. Well, I don't know. I don't hate them. I just don't
Yeah, you
see.
do.
I
You
don't see
despise
the appeal of them.
them. But yeah, so I love them. But they would be they'd be really cool for a week, and it's
Yeah,
the sort of thing that might be popular on YouTube, to be fair.
yeah,
But after a week, I'd be bored of it.
yeah.
So, but what's that eel that it's quite small, yellow. Oh God, I can't
The
remember. What it's called.
golden eels,
Golden. Yeah,
golden
yeah, yeah.
morays are small. I don't know if they're that easy to get anymore. I've
I
not
don't
seen one
know.
from. They originally came one. We were getting them from Hawaii originally, but I
Right.
think there is another place obscure that you can get them from as well.
Okay. I
Um,
think they're not so bad in terms, like if you get a bigger one, they're a bit more of a
they'll
risk and all that sort
they'll
of stuff.
still eat fish. So any small
Yeah,
fish you've got, they'll eat.
fair enough. But that's not an impossibility. I wouldn't have eels only. That just wouldn't
Yeah,
appeal. Wouldn't appeal to me. Oh my God, I'm being attacked again by a bloody moth. Um, but I could see myself having an eel, but I've not really thought about that. The other thing I'd love to do is have a basic SPS tank. So just Monty's, Stylo, uh, and Aquapora,
yeah,
and
yeah,
some Aquapora that are basic. One thing I'm finding in my main tank, right, that some of my acros, because I've ended up buying acros, of course I have.
yeah.
Some of my acros are doing really well. My Sunset Millie sucks. It's not
Okay,
happy.
yeah,
It's not growing. Its polyps are retracted. It looks unhappy.
yeah,
Pretty much everything else doing really well, better than the Gonnies most of the time. So I think actually some might be okay, but just
yeah,
not all the not. I think a lot would struggle, and that's in like low light, like 180 par, low flow, high nutrients. Anyway, but if I had like a basic SPS tank, so a barley green slimer, Monty's, just branching SPS corals, plating Monty's, that sort of thing, and then a ton of humbug damsels.
yeah.
What do you
Nah,
think? No, I
nah.
just think that I don't. I think I'd get fed up over time because when they get bigger, they get aggressive, and I wouldn't like that. But
Yeah,
just the thought of like 10 or 15 of these little tiny stripy guys darting in and out. Oh, that's so cool.
nah.
You're not feeling it.
No, not feeling it.
You're
It's
very
interesting
black and
'cause
white, aren't you? It's like you like what you like and you hate anything else.
well, I just like someone just said get an octopus or a cuttlefish. So
Their cuttlefish are really cool. They're like you've seen them like
yeah,
the
yeah,
little
no,
tiny ones, what they're
they're
called.
really expensive, I think,
Yeah,
the
but
cuttlefish that people keep. They have them at Sydney Aquarium.
okay,
I can't remember. They got a flamboyant cuttlefish. That's what they're
that's the
called.
one. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
those are cool. I don't know how long they live. I know octopus only live like a year. I think. I don't think
Yeah,
they
they
live
don't
very
live
long
long,
at
do
all.
they? They also, so I don't think octopus, absolutely no way. They're escape artists. They're a real niche pet. You've got to really want them. I just wouldn't want one at all. And like you say, if it's 18 months old, you've done well. The
Yeah,
cuttlefish, that's a predator only. And I don't like the idea that anything else I go in there would be a meal.
yeah. Well, it would
So
be you would have one thing in the tank, like
it's a
one.
cuttlefish tank, yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't put cleanup crew in there. You don't put shrimp. You don't put other fish in. So I don't
yeah,
like that. It's again like with Hassel garden eels, it would be amazing, but it's boring because there's no variety.
yeah.
Garden eels are even worse because you need a deep sound bed, which causes all sorts of other issues. Actually, this is going to be bare bottom. This tank.
Even well, the soft corals will soon cover that, won't they? So it wouldn't necessarily stay bare bottom
Yeah.
long term.
I don't mind if it doesn't. It's going. It's yeah. No, I'll tell
I
you why
love
in a
how some of an octopus, then all of a sudden the next person's like, yeah, octopus, good idea. Yep, good idea. Yep.
minute.
Good
I'll
idea.
get an octopus.
Yeah.
Speak to Rich Ross. Richard, what's his name? Reef Beef. If you get an octopus, I wouldn't get an octopus. They're really cool,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want one. They're
Someone
too.
taught, well, not really, but there's a YouTube video and there was like a series they did. Um, this is the sort of content that you need to make, Alex. Then I might actually start watching.
Yep.
He taught his octopus to play the piano, and
Oh
it was
yes.
if you it was a real long process, but he showed you how he did it. And it's not like like it's not like playing it
Yeah.
like Mozart.
Like
Mozart did
Mozart.
the
Yeah.
piano,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but he did manage to get it to press the keys based on a signal, and he put
Okay.
a little crab in there. Like, it wasn't a real crab; it was like a plastic crab that he wiggled, and then the octopus would press that key.
And then you
So,
get the crab. Or
well, he would then get fed, yeah, through a tube,
right. Okay.
and then he played his
Um,
guitar with the octopus playing the piano.
I would be up for doing that if all I had to do was put an iPad on the side of the tank with some bloke
Yeah,
playing the piano, and it would learn different
yeah,
songs.
yeah,
Then, yeah, I'm up for it. But if it's just 6 months of effort every day to get him to touch a key.
I think it was a long process.
It's not that. I'd want him to be playing thoroughly after a week, basically.
I like the intelligent factor of an octopus. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I put value in like them. So the angelfish are definitely more intelligent than the tangs, for example. I just feel it. They almost like looking at you, and studying you, whereas the tangs are like, "Ooh, where's the algae?" So I like the idea of an octopus. I think more than I'd actually like having one, because probably 99% of the time it doesn't do anything. Whenever you go to the aquarium, they're just hidden.
So, but pets like that actually that is much more like a pet, because you can interact with it and this sort of thing. So, like Amy does some stuff, has the Luna, what's it called, the shrimp, mantis shrimp.
Oh yes, yeah.
And she properly interacts with it. That is like, it's not quite the same as a dog or a cat, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's the closest thing that you're going to see in a fish tank.
Yeah,
and that
true.
sort of interaction is really cool. And you don't really you get that to a degree with like hawkfish or that sort of stuff, but not really. So something like that, and I guess that's where the porcupine puffer comes in. But something like that would be cool.
Boxfish are the same though. They have the same personalities as porcupine pufferfish. They're very interactive.
What fish are, sorry, the same?
Boxfish.
Boxfish. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, Jamie's boxfish is cool, wasn't it? Cowfish, sorry.
Yeah.
So I do like the idea of that. I just basically the thing that I don't want to do another acro tank or another LPS tank. It's got to be different. It's got to be something really cool, because I'd be bored as much as anything. So I don't just want it to be. I found with the Cade, the idea was with the Cade was to have a really simple, basic LPS tank with some simple corals, and show that really simple, cheap LPS corals can look awesome, and they did. But it was just like you put a photo of that on the internet, and within 5 minutes, 100 people have posted a photo, the exact same tank. It all looks identical, boring, basically. Not that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you've had a few tanks,
I'll add all of the listeners that have soft tanks to the list.
What I mean is, when you've had a few tanks, you get bored and you want to try something different, don't you, for yourself? If I'm looking at this every day, I need it to be.
I really think that the soft coral tank is like a good idea, and I actually think I could make it interesting for you. I have a customer that only buys the weird stuff. I've said this before. And it's opened my eyes to what like weird soft corals there are.
Yeah.
And especially gorgonians. There's loads of really, really like nice gorgonians that are sort of unusual, and they're photosynthetic. I'm not talking about the ones you have to feed. You don't like gorgonians?
They're boring.
Loads of people. Gorgonian's one of my biggest sellers.
Okay, you're like, it's like I've just called you a dad fat or something. The ones I do like are those like red and white ones with the pygmy seahorses on them. Get me one of them. You know what I mean?
They're probably non-photosynthetic.
And and they're probably illegal to import, but they're probably a nightmare to keep. Apart from that.
Yes. Look, I understand what you mean by they're not the most brightest color, but I definitely think they add something in terms of like
these things. You've seen them?
Well, I've seen the seahorses.
Yeah,
that one looks surprised.
So it does. What the hell? You found me.
It looks surprised, and like it's had lip injections.
It does. That's a bad plastic surgery job. But I think they live on gorgonian. Maybe they're not gorgs. Actually, they look more like.
No, it could be.
Anyway, whatever. Get me one of them, and make it easy to keep. Make it eat mysis.
I reckon that you could have a really like if you don't like gorgonians, then it's not going to work for you. But I reckon you could have a really interesting gorgonian tank, because it's something that people just don't see all the time.
This is true. And actually, the tank I did, so he's in the chat, the guy from Reefing Radio, Chris, Reef. His tank had a couple of gorgs in it, and they look really cool in that tank. Yeah. And that's one that you've got. They look really cool in that tank. I just don't like them myself.
Yeah.
But that shows that you can have corals that aren't necessarily what your particular taste, but if you make the tank interesting enough, it's cool. Yeah. Still interesting. So
you'd be surprised how many people want. As I said, the gorgonians I have. I wish I could get more of them. There's a purple variety that I know is photosynthetic. That Christian, one of my customers, has. The really big tank. He has. The problem is he can't take frags from his tank because the fish don't eat corals that are not damaged. So if he goes and frags them, they start to eat it. They
funny.
realize that it's damaged, so they
Right.
start to eat it. So it's like there's all this stuff that I want and I can't have any of it.
Right.
So because he's worried, obviously they sense the coral blood in the water, not blood, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean, the
yeah, yeah, yeah. They can
coral
smell.
juices in the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's
Yeah. Okay.
but there's also another one which is it's got a specific. I can't remember it now. I don't know. I mentioned it because I won't be able to tell you. But that's also like a non-photosynthetic. No, that one is a photosynthetic one, and it's not just brown. So
Yeah, I'm not too fussed about gorgs. I think in the right tank they're cool, but they're just not for me. I think it's the sort of thing that if you set up a gorg tank, I might enjoy visiting you and seeing it
yeah.
every now and then, but I wouldn't enjoy looking at it every day.
What I'm saying, if you have a soft coral tank, they add to the variety of it.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of soft corals are sort of like encrusting or flat or like, whereas this gives you the height, and it's not too chunky like like you can get like a foot tall toadstool, but it also is like 2 feet wide.
They're massive.
Yeah. So
That's the one thing. That's the one problem with soft corals in a small tank.
yeah,
Is soft corals grow fast, and small tanks are small. So yeah.
well, I definitely think the soft coral idea. That's my vision for that tank, and maybe even my vision for this tank. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be cool. I do like because that would be. I've not done. I don't think I've ever done that. I had soft corals to start with, obviously.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to do something different. But I don't know. I think I don't know when I'm going to decide. I've made my mind up like 4 times and then changed it, which is just I'm a bloody nightmare for that. But
I just think any other sort of, if you're not going for just a normal acro tank and you're not going for a normal LPS tank, any other sort of special tank is is like a species based tank, like an anemone tank or a garden eel tank, or you see what I mean? And I think they'll be boring after a period of time.
but that's why I like the idea of just having soft corals of whatever type,
Yeah.
but that are interesting and create a bit of movement and color and all that
Yeah.
sort of thing, but with some really cool fish. So you've got some cool corals in there. They're not the most exciting in the world. You've got some cool corals in there, and you've got these really cool fish that are totally different. I've never had before. They look cool. They swim funny. All those sorts of things.
Is there something that's in your mind now, other than the ones you've mentioned already, like the filefish and
Candy pipefish. I really want a pair of candy pipefish.
yeah?
And I
Be
wouldn't have
interesting to see if
mega
all these
players.
fish get on with each other.
This is the problem, because fish like pufferfish, they're likely to try to eat some stuff.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's going to eat a pipefish, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got aggressive with it, So
I would go for loads of small gobies, all different types that you don't see them all, and loads of blennies, all of these really little fish that don't get the same amount of love that they get for people with big
that
tanks.
would be really cool, but it's a small tank, and I think they'd probably need territory, a bit more territory than I've got in a 200-liter tank.
I always thought the blennies would fight with each other, but I have 3 of them, and they're like good as gold.
You got a 6-foot tank though. If I put 3 in a 2-foot tank or whatever it is,
I've got a 6-foot tank, but they all live within like probably 10 centimeters of each other.
but they know they can swim away.
Yeah,
I don't know. It might work. To be fair, it might work. And I would like. I probably have a Blenny there because Blenny is just awesome. But
I just
I'd
wonder
love.
if
Oh,
that
actually,
was
do you know what?
outdated information, or if they are savage
Maybe.
towards each other.
Only one way to find out, I suppose. But one thing that would be really cool is have some barnacle Blennies.
Yeah. I think
'Cause
Amy
they're-
has those as well.
Does she? Because they're proper characters. They sit in the, but they dart out really quick and then dart back in.
Yeah.
They're totally different to most Blennies. So that would be. I wanted a set of them in my main tank. So that would actually be a really cool idea.
I think to some extent I have some customers that will buy stuff, but like they'll see something, they go, I want this, and these aren't the best, like it's not the best way of doing it, but they're happy to try something which is an unusual, like I say, a batfish or something, which you would never have a batfish probably. You'll go, oh, this is a nightmare. But one of my customers went, I'm gonna give it a go, and a year later he's still got this batfish, and it's cool looking, and but what I mean is, like, some people are willing to try stuff, and some people aren't.
I'm more willing to try stuff in this tank than normally because
Yeah,
when you when you know what can go wrong,
yeah,
you're less likely to take risks, which
yeah.
is why
That's
young
what I
people take
mean.
much better risk and have more fun than old people. But for
And you also
example,
you might stumble across
this guy
something.
said lots of clams in various colours, and Les says cool inverts as well.
Yeah,
The fish that I want would go for the clams 100%.
yeah,
So they're just, and there's a limit. I'm prepared to try some of these fish with some of the corals, knowing that they might go wrong, but
yeah,
I wouldn't want to go too far because if it's chaos, that's stressful and it's not fun for anybody. So
yeah. I don't see the appeal of clams. I've
really,
never been controversial. I know. I've never been like, oh, I really need one of those. I think I've had one
okay,
once. I was having like a mental breakdown, and I bought a clam and a regal angel the same day.
okay.
I was like, hey, here's the
How
regal
did they
angel,
get on?
and here's your food. They were fine
Yeah,
actually. Didn't touch it.
okay.
I knew it was a risk, but yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
when you're having like a midlife crisis, you do these things. Um, but yeah, like one of my customers like has like a proper clam tank. They loves it, but I just don't get it. And it's
I
interesting
do
how
like clams. Yeah.
different things appeal to different people, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun. I've never been able to keep clams. All the clams I've bought, except one, have died, and the one that didn't die, I had to sell because it was getting too big.
It's probably feeding, I reckon. Like in terms of like some people feed them phytoplankton and everything. I know they can be photosynthetic, and
Well, they are.
over a certain size they are, but they probably benefit from food as well. Maybe I don't know.
Mm, I don't know. And whenever you ask anyone in the know, they say it's almost certainly light.
Oh yeah,
But anyway, what I don't know, but I like clams. I think they're really cool. They're not. They all look fairly similar. They're all like 50
yeah.
Shades of Blue, aren't they?
I'm on the lookout for a black and white one. You get black and white zebra ones,
Okay,
like,
that'd be
and I've
cool.
been trying to get one, and I've spoken to the wholesalers about them.
Yeah.
Are you about to? Oh, I thought you were about to Google it. Because one of my customers wants a black and white one, and they are cool, but you just never see them.
Black and
So
white clam.
yeah,
Oh, okay. What's that one? Maxima. Whatever happened to black and white Maxima clams? Aquanerd. That sort of thing. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I've got someone who wants one, and they are cool, but you just don't ever see them.
Like a Maxima clam. Yeah, that is pretty cool to be fair.
I think
We
a lot of
don't
clams
we
are aquacultured, so
yeah,
maybe
in the
they're not
States,
doing that.
Clam Mania, for example, do loads of them, don't they? We don't
Yeah,
really get, and what's the other place? ORA? I think they do a load as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Probably other places as well. We don't really get much variety of clams in the UK. You get Durasas and
yeah,
a few different, slightly different color Maximas, and
yeah,
occasionally you might get a Crocea or something.
yeah,
And but for me, whenever I go into a shop and I see like if they've got 10 clams in,
yeah.
mostly like to the untrained eye, they look the same.
Blue, blue or
Exactly. They're
Jurassic
different
color, which
shades
is
of blue,
gold.
and
They,
yeah, they've
yeah,
got different stripes or whatever, and different what's the word, flutes or whatever it is
yeah,
on the shells and all that. But they're not that different. So,
yeah.
but then you see like in the American shows, they've got some awesome
Yeah,
awesome variety. Yeah, but I like clams, I have to say, and I do like the idea. Crocea are not just blue. Yeah, but the ones we see, the ones I see, then I never see really exciting ones. You get
I'm
all
gonna
sorts of
I'm
different
going
ones.
to not use this as the ability to mention your color blindness when you say the ones I see are all blue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all they are.
So,
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's I clams. I wouldn't go for clams because the fish I'm going to get would eat them, but that's not impossible. I do like the idea of having high light actually. So and you can do that with softies or SPS obviously. Um, because like when your lights are high intensity, everything looks cooler.
yeah,
So I kind of like the idea of having a highlight tank, which is part of why I like acros. But
I think what we should do, we should get you to pick the corals, and then I will just pick you the fish, and I'll just deliver
just
them
black
because
and white
then, yeah, that's true. Most of them will be black and white.
fish.
Might actually be helpful for you, um, but
Yeah.
but I because then I can pick them knowing that I don't have to deal with the hassle of them, and then you might end up with some
Exactly.
really cool fish.
I tell you what, I will do that if you let me choose fish for your tank.
My tank's full, I'm afraid.
That's all right. We'll sell the tiger because that's shit anyway. So we'll get rid of him.
You're starting to offend me now. It's my favorite fish.
I know. That's like it's like calling your kid fat, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if you're up for doing it, then you can choose my fish and I'll choose yours.
No. Well, this is what would happen. I'd pick one thing. It would become like a revenge thing.
Right, Ryan. I've got your dolphin. You're like, what?
Yeah.
It's 8 feet long. So.
I don't know. It'd be. I'm not. I know you wouldn't do it seriously, but you would probably end up with some fish that you wouldn't necessarily have thought of yourself. If you see what I mean.
I'm up for you suggesting them.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm happy to do that. And then one of my customers bought the what was it? You know those little. I don't know how. I need to ask him what they're like actually, because and they're all feeding everything. The little cardinal fish. You know, they're like Tetras.
Tail spot. Yeah.
Yeah, they bought some of those the other day. He also bought this massive black angelfish as well, which was Personifer, I think it was. And
no, not Personatus.
No. It's not the Personatus the expensive. Personifer's are the ones that are black with like a blue face. And it's the sort of fish that you're going to go, oh, right, it's black, so Ryan likes it. But it was actually a really, really like that's the sort of it would be a show fish in someone's tank.
That's not. I don't like large angels, but I don't hate that.
It's different, isn't it?
It is different.
It's like weird, and they're sexually dimorphic as well, so you can tell the difference between male and female. And that the face on them is really blue as well sometimes.
Yeah, it does look weird.
I love getting fish for people because everyone has just such different. Like I wouldn't necessarily buy that angelfish, but when I saw it, I was like, that is actually quite cool. But I couldn't have that over some of my other angelfish. If you see why, I couldn't have both of them.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to interrupt the chat for some consumer information.
Okay.
So Jordan Nicholson wants to know if he should do a fishless cycle. Would you recommend fish or fishless cycle? I've done some research and you never know what to believe online. So you and I think
just quickly, Jordan, which way do start typing? We'll tell you what we think, but tell us what your opinion is, what you're leaning towards at the moment.
Based on the research you've done.
Yes, because I'm interested to see what research is out there and what that get a feel for what people think is the right thing to do.
Okay, there we go. All right. Well, in which case, we'll. So I don't think I've got anything else. There's probably other people who've suggested other stuff in the chat that I've missed, but there have been some cool suggestions. If you've got anything else, then tell me. But we're potentially going to move on. In which case,
because I mean, Jordan's question.
Yeah. But whilst he types is what I'm saying. But yeah. So I don't know. Like, those are my thoughts basically. I've still yet to decide. I've got time to decide. I've got to.
What percentage are you leaning towards certain ideas now?
Literally, I think I was going to say 50-50. I think I'm leaning away from acros.
Yeah, so it's 90% soft corals with 10% chance I get to pick your fish.
0% chance you get to pick my fish. But yeah, so I'm probably leaning away from acros, but I do like the idea of like simple SPS. But I really like the idea of I just want to mimic filefish really, or a pufferfish. I think they're awesome.
I think you'll regret going for easy SPS. I really, really do.
Why?
Because you've done it before and it grows fast and it's just you go, oh, I've done this. Whereas you've not done a soft coral tank, which means
the other thing is a soft coral tank.
Because you think that you won't find it interesting. You think that you won't find it interesting. But what will probably happen is when you're building it, you'll go, actually, I'm surprised at how interesting I find this. Because that happens to me all the time.
So actually, one of the things that I keep thinking about, one of the things that keeps pushing me towards a soft coral tank is Moki's little tank with the green spotted puffer, the brackish they are.
Yeah.
But he acclimated them to saltwater and doing really well. Because that tank, it's not like the most spectacular tank in the world with amazing expensive corals. It's got a load of xenia and toadstools, that sort of thing in it. But they're all really grown out. It looks really cool. So that's the sort of tank that makes me think actually it would be a really cool thing to have. Particularly pulsing xenia, which I know you hate, but I just love it.
I haven't had
it. But I'll say what it's been 10 years since I've had pulsing xenia, and I
Yeah.
love it. I absolutely love it. It's
Yeah.
just I know better.
Well, you won't care if you have a soft coral tank. You won't care because they all just like merge into one
Yeah,
eventually, don't they?
exactly. Yeah, 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 maybe,
So
but
Jordan
I
doesn't look
probably
like he's
we'll
going to
do another
reply.
live stream in a year's time, and I'll be like, "Oh, bloody wish you taught me out of this, Ryan." So
No, I will talk to you out of the Xenia. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
it won't be another year. It'll be
I'll
like
be like,
about
"Oh,
3
just
weeks
go."
probably.
Yeah.
But
Um,
Jordan doesn't look like he's going to reply quickly enough. So
well,
out of
in which
interest,
case, so
what was your thought?
the answer is, I fish and versus fishless. I, I I guess that literally means would you put fish in from day one or would you not have fish? So I wouldn't don't put shrimp in and let it go for 6 weeks, then testimonial every day.
Yeah,
That's no one does that anymore. Bottled bacteria is the way I go every time. I put pour the bottle of bacteria in, follow the instructions, the right amount for the right volume of water you're using, all that sort of stuff,
yeah,
and I put fish in straight away
yeah,
with a CChem ammonia alert. Crucial
yeah,
because that gives you a reading immediately. Every time you walk past the tank, you can see if there's ammonia. Um, but the other thing that I would always do, and we talked about this before, I would always put established rock in the
yeah,
tank as well as the bottle of bacteria, whether
yeah,
that's from an existing tank, which you or I have, or
yeah,
if you can get it from a friend or a shop, or some live rock, whatever. That is just so good because then actually technically your tank's already cycled. You've got the bacteria there, and it's different from having bacteria come out of a bottle to probably a broader spectrum of bacteria on a piece of
yeah.
live rock that's been somewhere for months or years. So
My only hesitation with that idea, and I know why you're suggesting it, because you've always taken live rock from your tank, haven't you? And then put it into another tank.
yeah, are you going to say pest or something?
No, no, there was a period of time where people used to say you were meant to like, I can't remember what it was called, but like if you got live rock and you put it in your tank, they originally used to be an ammonia spike from all the dead stuff that this is if it came fresh from the sea. So I'm just wondering
Um, but
if
the reason you used to get that, as far as I'm aware, and this was a long time ago when proper live rock was around, was
yeah,
that you take it back from your local fish shop and you get die off because it's out of water for
yeah,
an hour or whatever when you're getting back. But when I buy when I buy live rock from a fish shop when I'm setting up a tank, I
yeah,
ask them to put it in a bag
okay,
or take a plastic tub because it'll pierce the
yeah,
bag
yeah,
or whatever. So I always it's submerged and then you don't get die off. The downside is that you might find that you get aptasia. So
yeah,
if I take I've got aptasia in my main tank. If I took when I take the filtration media from the sump and put it in my new tank, there
yeah,
might be aptasia on that, and therefore from
yeah.
day one I might be putting aptasia in. But I'd rather have that and deal with it than risk it. So personally, that's what I would always do. He
He's
was
replied,
typing
yes.
furiously. I was thinking fishless as it allows you to cultivate a much larger and more robust colony of beneficial bacteria. Correct me if I'm wrong, but with fishing cycle, I have to monitor the tank more. So does it actually culture a broader culture of bacteria?
If you, I'm not sure that's true.
I've not
Is
heard that before. So maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But to be honest, and hang on a second, I did think about getting some live rock, but how do I find a trained fish shop to get them? Go to any local fish shop and get some from them.
the live rock is the key thing, I
Yeah,
think. So many people are setting their tanks up to try to be as sterile as possible these days, and so many people are running into problems, especially with algae and it's like thick turf algae, which is like wiry. And the other thing is diatoms and dinoflagellates and things, and mainly dinoflagellates they're struggling with. So I definitely think that having live rock is the difference between having an easy tank or a difficult tank, in my opinion, for the first year.
yeah. So you mean having live rock instead of man-made rock, right?
Yes, yeah, because of the variety of it, and that I know you can say having some live rock. What I'm saying is have some. Don't try and make a sterile tank.
That's what I do. So I don't. I'm not bothered about setting up a tank with 100% live rock. I want
Yeah,
man-made rock. I just prefer working with it,
yeah,
basically. But also, but I would always put some live rock in because it's so valuable, and put a
yeah,
bottle of bacteria in from day one, and have your little tag of your sea chem ammonia alert, and
yeah.
then Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
And it is incredibly unlikely that if you're in the hobby for the next 10 years, you'll get no pests in it.
Trusted fish up.
Yeah.
and not trained. Yeah. So that's what I would do. Yeah, basically mature live rock from a local reefer, mature live rock from a fish shop. I really like the idea of selling, of getting. I've said this before, of putting back to filtration media in my sump, massive
Yeah.
vat of it, put it in my sump, and then sell it for 10 quid a pop. And when it's been in there for 6 months or whatever, then you
Yeah.
can buy it, and you can buy seeded bacteria. I'll send it to you in
Yeah.
water, and then you've got this brilliant culture, and straight away you've got instant tank. You don't have to worry.
And
But
Asterinas.
definitely Asterinas. But that's the
Yeah.
thing. You like it might be okay, it might not have anything, but it might give you Aptasia, and then
Yeah.
people will be like, "Oh, you gave me Aptasia." And it's like, well,
This is what I think people that are
sorry.
relatively new to the hobby don't understand
I
that,
was petrified of Aptasia when I set up my first
and
tank.
everyone
Yeah,
is. But
yeah.
when you've been in the hobby like 2 months, you don't understand that pests are part of the hobby,
Oh,
and most of them you can just deal with, like generally. Um, so just quickly, so JT mentioned he said if you can't get hold of live rock, is sand with bacteria the same? In America, you can get like proper sea sand where they literally go and
yeah,
scoop
from Tampa
sand out of the
Basin water.
ocean,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, but the Carib Sea live sand is not live sand. That is the best marketing campaign you can ever think of. What they've done, it is sand with a bottle of bacteria in.
yeah. And
So
it's
you
so
might as well
it's
just buy a bottle of bacteria.
so some people swear by live sand. I've personally I've never used it. For a start,
Yeah,
it means you can't rinse it, and I like to rinse sand because it's
yeah,
really dusty. But
yeah,
no, it's not the same. But yeah, so and he's asked, would you still put bacteria in? I would still pour a bottle of bacteria in as well,
yeah.
and then put a rock in as well, and then I would feed the fish and put a fish in from day one.
It's interesting. You like the bottles of bacteria. I actually prefer those marine pure balls
Yeah,
that
okay.
are like jelly balls. I only because I know absolutely firsthand they work.
Are they
Like,
Evolution Aqua?
yeah, I
Evolution
think so. Yeah,
Aqua
they
Marine.
come with a little like a little rubbery like ball in the bottom of them. So you need to put them into like a filter sock because otherwise that will end up floating around your tank. But there's been a few times where, well, when I say a few times, the first day of Aqua last year.
This stuff. Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Pure Balance, live beneficial
Oh yeah,
bacteria
so
for
that's it. Yeah,
saltwater aquariums. These little.
yeah. They work really well, and the reason I know what they work really well is because I used them the first time I went to Aqua. They were given to me, and it stopped a bacterial bloom. It stopped in its tracks almost immediately overnight. And then this year I used them, and I didn't have a like lots of tanks had like a little bacterial bloom, didn't they? Whereas mine had there wasn't even a trace of a bacterial bloom, and I think that's what made the difference.
Yeah. So
So I know they work.
So from first-hand experience of setting up for a start, this is the way I've described bottle of bacteria and some live rock. That's how I set up all my tanks. But
Yeah,
also when I set up my quarantine tank a couple of times, I used just filtration. First time I did it, I had no filtration media. I just had to set the tank up, and that was I had to do 50-60% water changes a few times because I was getting
yeah,
ammonia spikes. But the
yeah,
second time I did it, I had some bacteria in the sump, and I just moved that across. Zero problems with ammonia. Completely no reading ever from ammonia. So it does work. It is not just like I'm not just
yeah.
speculating. But there you go. There's someone's mentioned Reef has mentioned Aquaforest Life Source, which is it's like the best kept secret. Some people swear by that because that is, or is it Fuji mud, Miracle mud, something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah,
But it's literally mud from mangrove forest in Fiji, just
yeah.
full of bacteria. Some people absolutely swear by it, and
Is
not
it wet
just.
or is it like dried? Because
I
Miracle
think
Mud's
you're right.
dried.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I've never used it. I don't know.
Yeah,
This is the thing. I don't know. But look into it. But personally, all I would do is a bottle of bacteria and some mature rock. Doesn't matter where you get it from, as long as you take it back home in water,
yeah.
and then you're golden. It's wet apparently.
I've just got people shouting it's wet at me now.
Wet. It's wet, Ryan. For God's sake. But there you go. That's. But the only other thing is, I would say, don't sweat it too much, because this is a sort of thing that, because it's the unknown and the fear when you're starting out, it
Yeah,
feels like, oh God, if I get this wrong, everything's going to go pear shaped. actually, if you did a fishless cycle and you just poured bacteria in and then monitored everything for a month, and then you ghost feed a bit of food just to keep the culture going,
Yeah.
it'll be okay. As long as you wait for the ammonia to disappear, it's still okay.
It's expensive, but I actually quite like, and you wouldn't use it, and experienced people wouldn't use it. Why are you doing this?
Because we're talking about saints.
Oh, okay. I said yeah. Yeah, it's expensive, but Red Sea's like that Reef Mature kit. I thought so when I had the Red Sea tank, I used that. It was part of obviously when I worked with Red Sea, and I thought, oh, this will be a waste of time or whatever. And I actually genuinely I really quite enjoyed that as a product because I think that it teaches people how to start a reef tank.
Yeah.
I know it's a slow process, but it doesn't just teach you about the nitrogen cycle. It also
Tells
teaches
you
about
what's going on.
testing. It teaches you how to start a routine and things like that. So I do think it makes a difference for people that are very, very new. It's not for me and you because
I was
obviously
going
we've
to
done
say
it.
that might be right, but I had the opposite experience. So they sent me a load of stuff when they
Yeah,
sent me the tank, like bottles of all this sort of stuff.
yeah,
One of which was their Reef Mature kit. I thought, well, I'll try that. I still put in my live rock because I always
yeah,
do,
yeah,
but I thought let's try that anyway. And after I followed it for like 3 or 4 days, and I got
yeah.
this massive cloudy bloom of bacteria. And at that point, I was like, you know what, I'm giving up. So
That's
I
because you put
stopped.
the rock in. You didn't follow it exactly.
Well, maybe, but either way, and maybe yeah, that's the thing. Maybe I'm mixing recipes, and
Yeah,
I'm mixing a recipe for a Victoria sponge with, steak or something. So I'm
yeah,
getting flour and eggs all over my steak.
yeah,
But anyway, I didn't like it personally. I got after a few days, I was like, so I just stopped,
yeah,
and I did what I always do. And personally, I think what I always do is the best way to do it. If you want me
yeah.
to
No, I agree.
nail my colours to the mast, bottle of
Yeah,
bacteria, live rock, established live rock, not just like a week old or whatever, at
yeah,
least a month old. Bob's your uncle.
and a fish.
And a
Yeah,
fish, yeah, and feed him a little bit.
probably a clownfish.
That's the thing. So clownfish as well. So damselfish, back in the day, people would put a damselfish in because they can tolerate ammonia.
Yeah,
Just because they can tolerate ammonia doesn't mean it's not torture for them.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
not good. But clownfish are great because for a start, they're not as aggressive as other. It's a type of damselfish, of course, but they're not as aggressive as other damselfish. So you're not going to be ruining your tank just to get
yeah,
through this. Clownfish are probably the fish that you're most excited about as a beginner. They were for me.
yeah,
So you get some really cool fish. They're not mega expensive, and they're hardy, so they are more resilient. So if you even if you do this and things go wrong, they're less likely to snuff it than
yeah.
a more delicate fish.
There you go. Also, you got your first customer. How much are you selling your
Keep
live rock
selling
for,
my
Alex?
I'm not, unfortunately, but I don't know. I
It's
think
something a fish shop should do. It's not
exactly. If
something
you're
for you.
set
It's
up
like,
for it,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And I could do it. I just don't think it's a
yeah,
good idea for me. But I would like fish shop to do it, but I think they probably have the same reservations because fish shops have Aptasia. It's just that they look after it and clean it, but they couldn't guarantee that you don't get it. And then
I
you
wanted
won't.
to just very quick. I wanted to go back to Jamie's tank. I should have asked this earlier. Did you feel ill this morning at all? Like just like a cold or anything?
No.
It happens to me quite frequently. And Rachel said to me, "You getting sick?" I went, no, it's just the when you're doing like lots and lots of stuff with like bacteria and sifting through years of fish crap and the corals are like puncturing your fingers and stuff like that. It always gives me like a cold the next day, but only very temporary. And then by the afternoon, I'm fine. And I wonder if that's your body reacting to all the different tropical bacteria and that it's having to fight off.
I think it's the difference between being an absolute wimp and a double hard bastard.
I
So
knew you were going to say that. I knew you
very,
were going
very
to say.
good.
I think it's
No,
the difference between the person who did most of the work and the person who did hardly any. So,
but you found that before when you've been in the farm, you're
yeah,
breathing in, you're fragging,
yeah,
especially if you're breathing in
100%.
whatever, and you're cutting your fingers on stuff and getting because corals sting you, don't they? Like if you ever touch
Yeah,
what they used to touch a rock flower anemone, grips onto you, and some
yeah,
people get like bee sting level stings from touching a torch coral, and
yeah, 100%.
so
If it stings a cut, oh, like a torch coral or a frog spawn touching one of the cuts on my fingers was one of the worst pain I've ever experienced. And maybe I am a wimp, but like it was the sort of thing going when you're experiencing pain and then you're going, like, when is this going away? Because this is
Yeah, I need
unbearable.
to stop now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what a weaver fish is?
I'm assuming it has a sting to it.
It's a tiny little, yeah, it's a tiny little like 2-inch long fish, and they bury
Yeah,
themselves in the sand on the shoreline. I
yeah,
trod on one in France when I was a kid.
yeah,
Fucking hell, that was
yeah,
I was only like 12 or 14, but Jesus, that hurt. That was like, and you go to there was a coast guard like lifeguard type person there, and
yeah,
my parents took me over to him, and he was like, "There's not really much you can do, mate. You just got to suck it up."
yeah,
Christ, so this stuff in the sea is freaky.
yeah. Well, jellyfish put me in hospital, didn't it?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So,
Carry a box jellyfish, and you'll know
yeah,
about it.
it wasn't a box there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
well,
have
yeah.
put me in a coffin.
What are
But
those little
potentially,
blue spot jellyfish? Is that what they're called? The tiny ones. Anyway,
no, the tiny one, the box jellyfish are tiny, but the Portuguese man of war sting people as well. There are a few different Irrigantes, another one.
blue reef octopus. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, sorry. There was a YouTuber the other day. He sort of like messed around. He does stuff, and he took rock from the ocean because he was having he was basically growing mud crabs. Basically, what this person was doing.
Hmm.
It was one of those people that make sort of comical YouTube things. He
Yeah.
took he took rocks out of the oceon, and about 2 weeks into the experiment, he found a one of those blue ringed octopus in there.
Jesus.
So, and I don't think he put it in there for fun. I think
No.
he actually like it was in there and he didn't realize.
Yeah.
He took it out. He went. It's funny because he took it out, but he went. I'll go put it back somewhere safe in the ocean, and he made it look like he was putting it right where people are walking into down the steps into the ocean. But yeah, it's dangerous in Australia.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
Australian.
Yeah. Anyway, right. We need to move on
Yeah.
because we've got other stuff to talk about. First of which is member questions. And there is one. It's from Edward, who says, "Can't wait for the coral I regret episode." Don't know what you're talking about, mate. We were talking about setting up a fish tank. You're going crazy.
Yeah.
God. This one should be fun. My Flamingo tank has tripled in size since purchasing. He might make the list sooner rather than later. So he's talking about, of course, the original title of this live stream that was "Fish We Regret." What have you got? Just give me one fish you regret, just so we can tick it off.
Oh, I had a porcupine puffer fish that went rogue, that was just taking chunks out of things.
Biting holes out of you.
I've had corals that eat corals, like all sorts of
Corals that eat corals.
No, sorry, fish that eat corals. I'm getting tired now. Like I'd have to put up some proper thought into it.
Yeah. There you go. Well, there's your one. Mine was Harlequin tusk fish. Just horrible fish. Horrible fish.
I quite like those.
They're so cool, but they've seen the size of their teeth. The clue was there.
But if you hadn't put it in with a jawfish, would you feel the same way? This is the thing.
That's the thing. So the tank I put it in was too small. It was 4 foot. I think you probably need to put it in a 6 foot tank. And don't put it with small tube fish like gobies and jawfish because it will eat them.
Yeah.
But even then, like it just I don't know. If it was in a fish only predator tank, cool as hell.
Yeah.
But every now and then you see a fish like that in a reef tank, and you're like, do you know what? I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
You know you shouldn't, but you see one person doing it. Oh, well, that's he's worked, you know.
Yeah.
And then you try it, and you're like, oh god. But I hated that fish. It was awful. Anyway, that was the only member question, which brings us on to the Prestige Reef Fish of the Week.
We were going to do your fish. We weren't sure if we did this fish of the week last time, but what was it? It was wasp fish. No, it wasn't a wasp fish, was it?
Pygmy wasp fish.
There you go, pygmy wasp fish. And this because this is a fish that you want, isn't it?
No, I saw it on Ultimate Reef the other day, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Oh, someone was asking about it or something. I can't remember, but they're just so cool.
I don't like it. Not even remotely. Like no.
Really?
I suppose they're kind of like, actually, I suppose they're kind of like hawkfish that have got like a hair like a Mohican, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think they're quite cool colours. Pygmy fish are generally cool because they look cool. Small fish look cool, don't they? But
it's too punk for Ryan.
Too punk for Ryan, yeah, exactly.
Some people think it's cool, but do you know anything about it? How did this come up that you told me about this fish?
I saw it on what's it called, Ultimate Reef, I think it was. But they're venomous and they're predators. But they don't. It's not like if you get a lionfish, they've got big mouths. These guys, I'm sure they're going to eat decorative small shrimp and that sort of thing. But they're not that. They stay small. And I think they wouldn't. I think. Well, I don't know. I think I'd expect them to be okay with things like clownfish.
I don't
Small
like
babies
things
probably ask for trouble, but
that hide under rocks. That when you pick up the rocks, you can get stung.
God, yeah, exactly, freaky. But I just think so I don't really know much about them, but I think that they do look cool.
They come in
And they're
different
very
colors.
different. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, brown, grey, and brown.
At the
Brown,
wholesale,
grey, and
you'd see some like weird fish. There's like, I think they're called like goblin something fish or something.
Yeah, I think I know the one you mean.
Where they've got these like little things that walk along, and they come in all different colors. And no, goblin fish just brings up sharks. So we'll have to do that as the next one.
You'll have to remember it.
Yeah.
What is the Prestige Reef Coral of the Week?
They're called sea goblins. I'm going for an Inferno Goniopora because I think this is one of the nicest Gonioporas that there is.
But Ryan, you hate gonies.
I wouldn't say I hate gonies. I prefer Alveopora. And a lot of people have trouble with gonies. It's weird. I can have 10 different gonies, 8 of them are open, and then 2 of them are not, and they're all different colors and variations, everything. But yeah, I would say they're one of the nicer variants, which usually means they have the higher price tag as well when it comes to gonies.
Yeah, they are very. So I have one. They are very nice, to be fair. I do like that. But gonies are a pain in the ass. They piss me off more and more. Gonies. Every time I look at one.
I've got some red gonies at the moment, and I've had them for ages, for like years. And I've got, let's say, 10 of them, and one of them has just been closed for ages. And it's the one right, like, it's not in the center, so it's not like it's getting shade or anything. It's just one just decided it's not happy, and it's not open for like 2 weeks. Why?
Yeah.
So
it's because of gonny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there is the Prestige Reef Fishing Coral of the Week. Now we are on to the news. And we've got 2 weeks of news to catch up on. There isn't a massive amount, but there is still some stuff. Firstly is live aquarium update. The saga continues.
It's interesting, this, isn't it? Because what is happening?
So the title for this is Live Aquaria 3, Setting the Record Straight. Okay, that's my working title for the film. So the update I saw was on CC Reefkeeper, who I believe is in the chat. Is that the same person? I think it is. And this is this is from Live Aquaria, though. This is the post they put out entitled Setting the Record Straight. I won't read the whole thing. You can go and check it out. CC_Reef KPR. But it's saying, look, everything's okay. It starts by saying there have been several rumors circulating on social media regarding Live Aquaria. First thing I want to say on that.
Not sure it's a rumor.
Exactly. This is not social media creating a storm like it often gets accused of. This came from the fact that there are serious problems that were publicized and that they've even acknowledged in here. But anyway, they've said that they some contain partial truths while others are inaccurate. Yeah, some contains rock solid facts. Not saying what we've talked about does, but anyway, they've said that they're still in business and they're continuing to ship orders daily. We've got a 25-year-old website that has technical challenges, and we're actively addressing them. That website went down at the same time this all came out.
I know.
But anyway, look, basically, it is still going. It sounds like they're talking about downsizing. What do they say? We have a sister company which served as one of our many suppliers is winding down operations. This decision is tied to changes in their core business partnerships and does not impact Live Aquaria's operations. Then it goes on to say we have made the difficult decision to sell our physical location in Wisconsin. So, okay. But anyway, look, you can go and read the full thing. But what they're trying to say is, look, everything's okay. We're still going. Ignore the rumors on social media. So there you go. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here, right?
If they are still going though, and I know that obviously there is a problem, but if there's some way for them to try to like get themselves out of it, this is tough for them because you have to rebuild the trust, and that's the sort of thing where it's tough to be when there is everywhere and in such a small community. It's like it's tough. Especially if we in England have heard about it, every one of their customers knows about it.
So the thing is, this is a really difficult situation for them to handle, right? Really difficult. And I've got massive sympathy for the people who are involved and stressful it's awful when it must be bad when people are talking about you on the internet left, right, and center. But they haven't handled it brilliantly. So it all kicked off, and then like 2 days later, how they dealt with the announcement was 20% discount. We're sorry. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, do
For
you
a
want
day.
to? Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if something is clearly going on,
Yeah.
if you want people to stop speculating,
Yeah.
then tell us, because otherwise people are going to speculate. So they didn't handle it brilliantly. But to be fair, this all came out of nowhere, and suddenly it's everywhere, all over the internet. So how do you get on top of that? It's not easy. But I didn't think they handled it amazingly.
I think we have to be honest with people.
Yeah,
exactly. I think we have to be honest with people. And if I was in that situation with them now, where there is like an absolute storm and they're trying to like contain it, I would put out a pretty significant discount to go, look, trust us and pay with a credit card so you're covered. And we will provide you with exactly the same service we've been providing you with for years. That way, there's a benefit to the customer because you're getting a discounted fish. Maybe they can't afford to do discounted fish. There's a reason that they've gone in. They're having financial troubles. I don't know. But that's the way to rebuild the trust with the community. Go try us and protect yourself, and then there's nothing to worry about, is there?
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, if this was in the UK, it's not, so it doesn't really affect me anyway. But if this was in the UK, this was a shop in the UK, I wouldn't be buying from them until the dust has settled, because shoppers are nervous and you don't want to risk losing your money. So I wouldn't even buy on a credit card. Not everything's covered on credit card anyway, but I would just let the dust settle and see where the chips fall in a month's time or whatever, or 2 months time or 6 months time. But I hope they do recover, because I like the website.
I agree. I think
and at the end of the day, it's a big business in our industry. So cool.
Yeah.
But there you go. So that, I don't. The thing is, no one really knows what's going on. So we've talked about this before. We don't really know what's happening. So we just tell you what we see, basically. So that is the latest update, and it appears to be still working. Everything seems to be ticking along. Live Aquaria. The website is up. Still going. So there you go. Next piece of news. Ryan, equipment. You like equipment, right?
Oh God, I was yawning a minute ago. Now I'm really gonna be yawning. I'm so tired. So, but I'm gonna stay. Like I'm redone my focus. Ready, go.
Stay with us. Avid Aqua. You heard of Avid Aqua?
No.
This is a company part run and part owned by, Terence, formerly of Neptune fame.
Oh yeah, I know who Terence is. Yeah.
And a guy, I've already forgotten his name. I saw his name earlier, Fairbrother or something. I can't remember his name. But anyway, the other guy who runs it, they run it together. They brought out a thing called the Insight, Avid Aqua Insight, which is currently in beta testing. You can buy it for $120 for the basic model, or $160 for the Pro. And this is basically, it's a display for your Neptune Apex. So it sits on outside your cabinet, wherever, and you can instantly see what your temperature, your pH, your salinity, all your parameters are, basically, and you can do various other things with it. It's about, I don't know, it's 4 inches by 4 inches, something like that. It's relatively small. It looks, it's a 4-inch color screen. I think that looks really cool. I think it's relatively cheap. You can currently buy it as a beta tester. Personally, I don't like beta stuff, so I'd wait till all the issues are ironed out, which is why you beta test stuff. But that's a good exception, and I don't have an Apex anyway. But if you have one, it's a good option.
Do you think it's
relatively cheap?
Do you want that on the side of your tank?
Yeah,
you do. What, where you can visually see it? See, I'm different.
I'd want it out of the way, but I have, like, to the left of my tank, I have a little out of the way bit that is quite subtle, and I'd be able to just glance at it every now and then, and be like, "Oh, look, 25 degrees."
See, I have obviously the GHL monitors, and in the coral farm they're exposed, and they say temperature and stuff. Like, never look at them. Never.
Yeah, okay. I look at, so when I have a little temperature gauge, I look at it quite often. But I think that looks quite classy as well. Some of them are quite bright.
It does. Yeah, I agree with you that. Yeah,
that
it does look
nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you go. It's currently available in beta, and I think that's quite. I mean, it's probably discounted because beta, I assume. I don't know. So maybe it'll be more expensive. But I think
I love that he's made something that fits with his old company.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he knows it, to be fair. So it does make sense. But I think that's relatively affordable. The difference between the base and the Pro is that the Pro model has an air quality sensor.
Yeah. There you go.
Which the Serious Reefs video the other day was talking about. It's like he described it as like a nose. So if you spray some aerosol in there, it will detect it.
Really?
In the room. Yeah, and then it'll go back to 0 an hour later or 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So how useful that is another matter. Oh, I think it's got a CO2 room sensor as well, which is actually potentially useful. But anyway, if you want to know more about it, head to avidaqua.com/product/insight.
There you go.
Code Reef Dork 0 for 0% off your first order. The second update is, and I've got fish coming for you, Ryan. But
Good.
there's Red
All right,
Sea.
I'm hanging in there.
Doing all right. There's a new reef controller from Red Sea. So they teased a couple of weeks ago. They teased that they were bringing out something new. And they said, guess what it is? And everyone was like, well, I guessed temperature controller because that was obvious to me. That was the obvious next step.
Yeah.
A couple of people said aquarium controller. I don't think they'll be doing a full-on aquarium controller. They have brought out an aquarium controller. So it's called Reef Control. And there's too many options for me to tell you about everything. But there's the Reef Control Lite, the Pro, and the Pro Deluxe. Basically, the Lite is a temperature controller that controls heating and cooling, so fans, and it also has a second pH probe. I think it comes with. You'll have to go on their website to see what stuff comes with and what doesn't. But it has a 12-volt input, so you can plug your fans into that. So the really good thing about that is that means that you have one plug that will do temperature, as in heating, cooling, and a pH probe. And the amount of plugs you end up with in a bloody tank like mine, that's good. And then it's got other probes like what is it? ORP, salinity, leak detector. No jokes, no laughing in the back. pH and temperature, all sorts of things. So ORP is if you're using, I think it's called oxygen reduction potential or something like that. That's useful if you're using ozone. Salinity probes. I had a salinity probe, but didn't like it. They're unreliable. And my impression is that GHL, Neptune, Reef Factory, everybody has the same issue. So I don't know about that. Potentially have to calibrate it a lot, but it remains to be seen. But there you go. If you want a controller, there is now another option. And the other thing that I was talking about earlier with plugs is this. I think this looks more exciting. Is the Reef Control Power. So you have 8 plugs in the US, 6 in Australia, EU, and Europe. And you can get it to turn stuff on and off based on various commands and all this. I might be losing Ryan at this point.
No, not at all. Okay. I was actually interesting. See, this is how I can tell you that I'm listening. I wonder why we can only have 6, but they can have 8. It must be something to do with it. They have a different power supply, don't they?
Yeah, so it might be a voltage thing. I don't know, but it's the same. So the GHL equivalent of this only has 6 plugs in the UK.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Neptune one actually because I've never owned it. Well, I didn't own the GHL one either. But anyway, I think we get 6 in the UK and you get 8 abroad just generally. I think it's a regulation thing.
Yeah.
But it does have a little 12-volt input, so you can actually plug your auto top off into this as well, which takes away another plug, which is great. I love reducing the number of plugs. And it basically it can turn things on and off at certain points. So if I don't know, if at 4 o'clock, if you want your skimmer to turn off for an hour, you can do it. Or there's various other things. I don't have a massive amount of information on at the moment because it's not out yet. I think it's out in January. The cost varies. The cheapest is 320, which is for the power thing, the power controller. And then the most expensive thing is 700 quid, which is for all these different probes, ORP, pH, salinity, temperature, everything. So there you go. But I think that looks really good. I was surprised they brought out so much stuff, not just a temperature controller. Yeah. And I think that looks potentially quite cool because the issues at the moment, you've got Neptune and GHL are the main brands in aquarium controlling. Yeah. And the things that people complain about with those two are that Neptune is too complicated for beginners. When you get into it, it's fine, but it's too complicated and it's not quite coding, but it's that sort of thing. And GHL, the software isn't very good. The hardware is excellent. People complain about
equally complicated.
People complain about the hardware on Neptune stuff as well. So those are the so that's like a rough overview of the complaints people have about those things. Red Sea, the software I like the app. I think it's pretty good. So
their stuff's usually designed for idiots.
Yeah,
like really like people like me, really basic, like just a slider, or there's like they don't ask you about hysteresis or anything like that. So
Yeah, I hate that.
yeah,
You've given me
so
PTSD from my
yeah,
GHQs.
I'd be interested to see how this like they usually make high quality stuff, and I think they usually fix the things that other people haven't fixed. So I'd be interested
Indeed.
to see if this is popular.
They did
But
send me a press release because I'm a journalist, right? I don't know if you knew
yeah,
that. So I'm basically like a newspaper journalist, proper full-time
yeah,
journalist. But it basically says the same thing that I've seen everywhere else. So it doesn't say anything else that's particularly exciting. But actually, well, that was one thing. It monitors power consumption. So if it tells you that suddenly your power heads are supposed to be drawing 10 watts and they're only drawing 5 watts, that
yeah.
means you need to clean them. Those sorts of things.
That's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, so there's so much stuff that it does. I can't tell you all in the time we've got today.
Yeah,
But I genuinely think that was really good. So to be released in janvier, I believe.
there you go.
Moving on from, I've got fish, Ryan, and we got a fish I know you like for the fact.
1 second, let me perk up.
Yeah. What are your two favorite angelfish?
Wait, I've seen this. I think.
You've
I
got
mean, is this the
Deja
king
Bay,
eye and the regal? Yeah,
Homolau
yeah, I've seen this.
of
Yeah,
so they did this before. This was about a year ago. They successfully bred a tiger king eye angel with a regal angel,
yeah.
and they've done it again.
Well,
I think it was
I
God,
find this interesting because the top they obviously have all come from the same batch. That as in,
yes.
it's not like they bred three different ones. Like this is, and I don't think this is the same fish that they're taking a picture of. I think this is three individual fish. I haven't
Yeah, I think
read
this
the
is an
article.
example. The top one, by the way, is the king eye, the tiger angel. The middle one is the regal angel, and the bottom one is the hybrid of the two.
Oh, when I saw, I didn't read the article. When I saw that, I thought they had three, and the top one had
Oh,
got
it's
most of the genetics from the king eye. The middle one got most of the genetics from the regal, and then the bottom one was the
I think
best
that's right.
mix.
Juvenile king, middle juvenile diacanthus,
Yeah,
which I assume is regal. Yeah, I think I think I'm right.
yeah,
But the
you are
bottom
right.
one thing you'll notice, the bottom one, the hybrid, it's got an X like your one. Your one's no
Maybe
longer
that was
unique.
my one.
It's just crashed in value,
Yeah,
like the stock market.
yeah, yeah,
But that's cool. I would rather have a straight up regal, but I do
yeah.
think that looks cool. And these look a bit weird because they're a bit like bulbous eyed because they're so small, but they're cool.
I,
That's cool.
there are lots. I've seen lots of angelfish hybrids. They actually hybridize pretty frequently, and even in the wild. Not these two, but other
No.
angelfish, and they are almost always worse than the originals. They're like the Yerpal tangs, where you're like, you can have a nice bright yellow tang, or a nice bright purple tang, or you can have a brown tang. So the angels are almost always. Whereas I think this one might actually end up being really cool.
So these are different subspecies or
Yes.
whatever. I don't know what
Yeah.
the word is, but that's why it's unusual because they're not the same kind of. What are they? They're
Yeah.
oh, I don't even know.
The
Diacanthus
regal has a really difficult
and king.
first
Yeah,
name. I think it's like I can't. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce it.
Apolomicthus king eye,
Yeah.
and the regal is Diacanthus. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, they're different type of angel. That's
Yeah.
why it's impressive, and they look cool. So there you go. There is now a new. You can't afford it. I can
It
tell you that.
probably is expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. There's no price, and you can't buy it anyway, even if you can afford it. So
I think it's pronounced. I'm about to butcher this, but it's Pygoplites diacanthus. I think is what it is.
perfect.
Maybe.
Pygoplytes, I bet. Anyway, there you go. Cool angelfish that you can't afford and you can't buy even if you can afford it. And there's only
Yeah.
one of them, and it's already gone.
Yeah. I
So,
don't think it's gone because I tried to get it.
I
So
really no. But
yeah.
I mean, I suspect that someone has already it's been earmarked for someone.
No, they're not selling it.
Are they not selling it? Oh, even
No,
better. They're
no.
keeping it. Brilliant.
I know someone who want it,
Unobtainium.
so I tried to I asked them if they're in if it's going to be on the market, but it's not on the market. So.
Yeah, but you just haven't offered enough money.
Yeah,
Give
it's
you
true.
$1 billion.
Yeah, true.
Okay, go
I think
ahead.
they're interested what it turns out like. They're probably just as interested as everyone else is.
But that concludes the news. And I'm rushing because we've gone past the 2-hour mark all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get overtime after 9 o'clock, don't I?
No, you have to pay him time and a half, bastard. So very expensive Rhinos as well. Right. Thank you all for watching, guys. We will be back next week with more nonsense. Bye.
See you later.